want that, I suspect. And whilst it's okay, you can overcompensate for it and you can shift people across and start to cover for Trent. You start to balance the side to achieve that. So it's not about Trent being in the 35, which he probably could and should be, because there's no reason for him not to be, really. But you start chucking him in against games against Ghana, then you'll have this massive press reaction to the fact if he doesn't play against a side where Tuchel thinks we need to defend better.
Yeah.
I think it's great that Trent can hit a winning ball. But we talk whenever we haven't got something. We always talk whenever we see something. We always talk about what we haven't got. Players get better when they're not playing. So.
talkSPORT Sports Update, powered by the Nissan van range. Scoring a winning hat-trick of performance, payload and price. Search Nissan vans or head to your local Nissan van centre.
With your headlines at 1 minute past 10, I'm Nick Ellaby. Good morning. Unai Emery was pleased with the way his side switched up to go more direct in a fantastic 3-1 win at Bologna. He thought Villa were a bit shy in the first half, but hit Watkins and Rodgers to dominate the second.
We'll play the second leg, extending the plan we did today with a new plan, but of course respecting them and playing disciplined, serious and responsible like we did today.
Villa could still face Midlands opposition in the Europa League semi-final. Nottingham Forest drew 1-1 at Porto ahead of Villa's Premier League trip to the City Ground on Sunday. talkSPORT presenter and Forest fan Max Scott told us Forest will avoid relegation over the next 3 games.
I think we're going to get 5 points. I think we're going to get a point against Villa, a win against Burnley and a point away at Sunderland, and that'll see us safe.
West Ham could put Spurs in the bottom 3 if the Hammers beat Wolves live on talkSPORT tonight. Meanwhile, Arne Slot says he's repeating himself but does feel the love and support from Liverpool's fans and directors. Following comprehensive defeats to Man City and PSG, Liverpool host Fulham tomorrow afternoon. Alisson still out for that one. And Bob McIntyre legged it from Augusta without speaking to reporters yesterday. He could be in trouble with Masters organisers. McIntyre flipped a middle finger toward the 15th green after going into the water. Meanwhile, just 3 shots off leaders Rory McIlroy and Sam Burns. Scotty Scheffler put in a solid opening round.
You know, there's a few putts that I felt like I made that lipped out or stayed right on the edge. But other than that, really a lot of good stuff. You know, I hit it nice, drove it well today. Hit some good iron shots, but you know, like you said, it got so firm. You know, late in the day, it was pretty challenging.
Big names all over the top of that leaderboard. More at talksport.com.
talkSPORT News.
The Prime Minister says he's fed up with UK bills being at the whim of Trump or Putin's actions, and Melania calls for survivors of convicted sex offender Jeffrey Epstein to be offered public hearings. Emma has more in half an hour.
talkSPORT weather with QuickFit. You can't trust the weather right now, but you can always trust Pirelli tyres. In stock now at your local centre. Visit quickfit.com and book today.
Dry with sunny spells, rain moving into western areas this afternoon. Strong winds and coastal gales later, severe in the far northwest and back to average temperatures.
Hello and welcome to talkSPORT Goals. We've been taking you through what should be another busy day of football. Chance to win it!
We don't need to do that, guys.
I'm going to owe you an apology.
How would you get to that conclusion?
That's a weak mentality.
Oh, get out of it.
Welcome to talkSPORT on a Friday morning with Sam Matterface, Alex Crook and Gabby Agbonlahor. We're here right the way through to 1 o'clock this afternoon. So Unai Emery is on course for a 5th Europa League trophy as Ollie Watkins closing in on his personal 100 club. Is adversity the best motivator for some players? Do you like thriving under pressure? Meanwhile, Harry Maguire believes Manchester United's spotlight is too big for many of his teammates. Is the comments divisive and arrogant, or actually is it a fair observation of exactly what the problems have been at Old Trafford? I'm going for the latter. Also today, is it high risk, high reward? The way to save Spurs' season? How was a club with one of the smallest budgets in League One managing to win promotion this weekend? And British professional jockey Sam Twiston-Davies joins us live to discuss his ride in the Grand National. It's all coming up here on talkSPORT with Sam Matterface, Alex Crook and Gabby Agbonlahor. And it's Friday, it's Fun Boy Friday, isn't it, on a Friday? Or is it Fancy Dress Friday? I don't know. What do you think, Gabby? Is it Fun Boy Friday or Fancy Dress Friday? Let's have a look. Let's see. We're watching on YouTube and Facebook right now. You can see a picture of Alex Crook preparing for the Masters in full Masters garb. He's basically gone Tony Pulis at the Masters. He's got a Masters green cap on, a Masters green shirt. And I don't know what the face is all about, but either way, it's worth checking out on our social media page. If you want to watch the show, by the way, we are available on the talkSPORT app on YouTube and wherever you get your videos from. You can find us there on Prime Video and Android and Chromecast and Apple TV as well. You look like a Disney World adult. Why did you dress up like that?
Because the good folks at talksport.com wanted my predictions for the Masters in video form. I was there a couple of years ago. Not everybody can say
You haven't stopped talking about
been to Augusta, so I did buy the club shop, and I thought, you know what, I'm going to get into.
You're going to wear it.
I'm going to get into the part.
Does it still fit?
It does still fit.
You know what happens though when the kids get older and these pictures come out? You know what I mean? It's very embarrassing for them. Just stop. Think of the kids when they get older, mate. Okay?
Yeah. Now this is on YouTube. You know your kids are teenagers now.
Yeah.
They're gonna see that. Their kids are gonna get a ribbon because you dressed up.
Well, I was actually wearing the cap around the house on Thursday, and my daughter did say that was quite cringe. Well, it's Masters weekend. It's the best weekend of the year.
Don't worry,
Masters. You got the Grand National.
I get called
big
cringe
football
every day by the kids.
Let's get into it.
As my son would say, 999, call the cringe police. Right, okay. Let's talk about Unai Emery because he's on the verge of leading Aston Villa to glory once again. Well, it's still going to be a little while because he's only just won the quarter-final away from home. But they are in a fantastic position. 25 games played in the Europa League. He's only lost once. It is his competition. Gabby, you said in the group chat last night it was easy for Aston Villa, but that's not entirely true, is it?
No, I was messing around. Listen, first half, Aston Villa were asleep. Very poor. Lucky to go in at half-time with the concert header. I thought they were sloppy, and it was like some players were playing it as if it was a friendly. This was a quarter-final, and you got to give Bologna a lot of credit. I thought they were fantastic first half, but sometimes you got to ride your luck, and when you score at the right time and you get maybe a lucky goalkeeper comes and flaps at it. But I would say second half, they stepped up. Tielemans was a joy to watch. Watkins, again, hold-up play, runs in behind, took his 2 goals well. And also Emi Martinez, some important saves. So he looked a lot better second half than first half.
Do you think that because of the fact they've managed to secure themselves a little bit more in the Champions League places, there's a bit more freedom to play in this competition now?
Yeah, I think so, yeah. But when you see the first half, you sort of think to yourself, these are tactics from the manager. Does he want it to be a 0-0, get
more control?
Park? It's all about getting through ties. We spoke about Sporting Lisbon versus Arsenal. It's just all about the result for Arsenal, not how you play in these away competitions. But to get a win when Bologna have played 20 Europa League games at home and never lost, and the mighty Aston Villa go there, Sam, and get a 3-1 win.
It's impressive. It was Villa's 8th consecutive victory in the competition under the 4-time winner, Unai Emery. Ollie Watkins as well, maybe proving a point to his detractors.
Maybe proving a point to Thomas Tuchel, having been left out of the last England squad. He seems to need that fire, doesn't he? He seems to respond when he's got competition. He had it in the form of John Duran, Marcus Rashford in the second half of last season. Hasn't really had that competition this season. I wonder if that's a factor in his goal return dropping off. But yeah, I mean, what more can he do between now and the end of the season? If he scores goals, he's got a chance, doesn't he? Because I don't think either Calvert-Lewin or Solanke really covered themselves in any glory in those 2 friendlies.
Well, he's scored 3 goals in his last 5 games across all competitions, having scored just 1 in 12 prior to that. And he seems to be a player that thrives when the pressure is on him, as Crook was saying about the competition, but also when people are criticising. And he does score in rashes. Do you prefer a consistent player who scores week in, week out, or do you like it that when the pressure is on and he has to deliver, he does it?
I say this to lots of Villa fans who try and give Watkins stick. If Watkins was scoring every week, he probably would have left Aston Villa 2 seasons ago. I think that's fair. I think Arsenal probably would have paid exactly what Aston Villa wanted for him, and he wouldn't be at the football club. I feel his form and the level that he plays at across the season is where Aston Villa are at the moment. Maybe that's why he hasn't got that move.
Is he a bit too nice as well?
He didn't look nice last night. That was the Watkins I want to see. And to get that call that you're not going to be called up, and Calvert-Lewin and Solanke are going to be called up before you, and then next game against West Ham you score, international break, and you score 2 last night. It just shows when he gets a bit of disappointment, or someone takes his place, or a manager doesn't pick him for an England squad, he raises his game. The last 2 games he's played have been Watkins that we know.
But basically what you've said there is that what you don't want is an elite striker who's scoring every single week at Aston Villa. You're quite happy to take someone who's on the second run down the ladder. Does that sort of smack of a little bit of lack of ambition?
No, because you have to be honest and say that when we have had players like that, they end up leaving, don't they? Over my career at Aston Villa, whenever anyone become like Benteke, when he left, Gareth Barry left, all these players left. And now the Villa owners don't want to sell players. But it wouldn't surprise me if Morgan Rogers does go in the summer because of the PSR rules that are in place. And don't get me wrong, I'd love Watkins to score every single week. But would he have left in the 5 years he's been at the club if he was doing that week in, week out?
Well, Morgan Rogers does seem to be doing it week in, week out, largely. 24 goals and 23 assists to his name since the start of last season. And he is expected to be at the centre of a £80 million transfer tug-of-war this summer. Why has this chatter started now? And
just 80?
I think they want a bit more than that. I was doing some inquiries this morning to see if he's got a release clause in his contract. Doesn't sound like he does. And I think Aston Villa are within their rights to ask for Jack Grealish type money for Morgan Rogers. And I think somebody will pay it. I think he is capable of going on to one of the top clubs in the country. But as Gabs has said, ideally Villa will want to keep him. But we know they're under financial pressure. More to do, I think, with the UEFA financial regulations than the Premier League ones, but it may be that they have to cash in, particularly if they don't make the
It would upset the manager.
June the 30th as well.
It would upset the manager because he's like his son. He's his favourite player. He plays every game. He's the last one to come off. He loves Morgan Rogers. You know, he brought him for £12 million from Middlesbrough, took a gamble on him, and I agree, £100 million.
It's now frustrating, isn't it? Because if you sell Morgan Rogers, you're sort of almost admitting that you're never really going to bridge that gap.
Financial fair play rules. I'll tell you something now, 100%. These owners want to win it all.
Yeah.
They've said that. The manager says he wants to dream. That's what I'm saying. He'll be so frustrated if he has to sell Rodgers because of financial fair play. If these rules were fair and you didn't have to sell a player to sort out the debt that you might have, then there's no way they would sell Rodgers. Why would you?
Yeah, but here's a question, though. Is it not... I mean, they obviously, we know that they're under UEFA auspices already because they've been fined by UEFA. We know that there's a possibility that they may well have breached already going into next season, so they've got to maybe loosen the purse strings and sell someone once again. However, one, I think the financial rules hamper some of these teams with ambition. That really irritates me. Secondly, I wonder sometimes, and I'm not saying that this is Aston Villa, but if clubs use those rules as a reason not to spend, they say, oh, you know, we've got to be a little bit careful here. Because 2 seasons in the Champions League is pretty lucrative, really, isn't it?
100%.
High up finishes in the Premier League is pretty lucrative. Have you got to maybe get a little bit better about the way you're managing the resources of the club?
And as well, the wages. What Aston Villa pay on wages.
Yeah, that's all part of it.
Yeah, it's incredible, but if they didn't, they wouldn't have got the players over the line. Even so, like Ian Martin, maybe Aston Villa had to pay a lot more than another club bigger than Aston Villa would have paid to get these players over the line. It will be frustrating, and I hope Morgan Rogers doesn't go because he's one of our valuable assets. Manager loves him, top player. But it's all about the rules, like you says. Is it end of June? Aston Villa have to create the funds?
Yeah, June 30th.
Well, the Champions League money doesn't come then, does it? Or I don't understand exactly the financial, the way it works, but it would be disappointing. And like Crookie says, it won't be 70, 80 million. I think Jack Grealish money.
I think they have to pay 20% to Middlesbrough as well, don't they, after the transfer from Middlesbrough in 2024. What business that is, by the way. 15 million quid from Middlesbrough, and now they're going to sell him for around about 100 million quid.
It's bizarre because I remember when he was on loan at Bournemouth from Manchester City at the time, and Scott Parker wouldn't pick him. And look at him now, one of the best number 10s in the
different age then, though, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was. He was only a young player, but still odd. Still strange.
But he's strong. What I love about him, though, Sam, is like, and I think he will start for the national team in the World Cup, just his running power. You know, when he picks that ball up in that number 10 position, there's no one stopping him. Fingers crossed he doesn't leave and hopefully has a great end to the season, gets into the Champions League.
Can they keep Morgan Rogers? 03717 223344. You can text us 81089. You can WhatsApp us as well. It's 03717 223344. And if they do sell Rogers, what does it say about their ambition. And do you think that Unai Emery is the man to lead you to Europa League glory? Notice, by the way, no one is talking about English arrogance this morning in any of the competitions, bearing in mind that all three of them did pretty well last night in the Europa League and the Conference League. 0371722 334. We're talking about Forest as well, who were handed a lifeline last night. One of the weirdest own goals you will ever see. We'll discuss that next with Selco Builders Warehouse. It's where the trade go.
Let's go to Jay. He's an Arsenal fan. All right, Jay?
All right, Jay.
How you doing, lads?
All right, matey.
I'm all right, Jay. You happy?
Yeah. No, I'm not, mate. No, not really. That was absolutely diabolical. Where was Martinelli tonight? Where was he?
What do you mean? You just got one of the best assists of the season.
Oh, lovely. Yeah, Sporting Lisbon. Yeah, we're flying, aren't we, lads? Do you know what happened? Me and me boy. Listen, me and me boy.
Final of the Champions League. 1-1-0.
Me and me boy. I mean, mate that I work with, he's a Tottenham fan, right? So we've got a Tottenham fan in between us. We got the 68 minutes. We were all yawning.
No, it's a tough one.
Literally yawning. So listen, we flicked over to the Real Madrid game with Bayern Munich. Oh my days!
Hold on. You turned over.
Too right, mate. Why not do that,
You turned over at Champions League quarter-final watching your team. You turned over and watched Real Madrid.
What do you want me to do? Go to bed at like 9:20, mate?
That's an absolute disgrace. Jay, you're a disgrace.
Jay,
I'm
that
sorry.
is poor, mate.
That's
really?
shocking.
Why are you
You're not
saying
watching
that?
your own team.
Listen, I wanted to watch football tonight, so I had
You're
to
an
go
Arsenal
over to
fan.
Real Madrid and Bayern Munich to actually see a bit of football, lads. And what is all this all about? It's all about Arteta, isn't it? We're all crumbling, the Carabao Cup, the FA Cup, we've gone, and then tonight was the night that we went out to Lisbon, right, and we put a foot down, and we showed that we want to win the Champions League. We're up, mate, nothing tonight. Absolutely,
1-1-0.
68 minutes. Oh, Jamie, come on, bruv.
Hello and welcome to talkSPORT Goals. We're taking you through what should be another busy day of football.
Chance to win it!
We don't need to do that, guys.
I'm going to owe you an apology.
How would you get to that conclusion?
That's a weak mentality.
Oh, get out of it.
It's talkSPORT. It's Friday morning. It's Sam Matterface with Alex Crook and Gabby Agbonlahor. Loads of messages coming in. Keep them coming. You can WhatsApp us 0371 722 3344. You can text us 81089. And also, if you'd like to get in touch with us on the phone, you can do 0371 722 3344. Talk Nottingham Forest and Crystal Palace in the next section of the programme. If Rodgers leaves Villa, says Simon, I hope it's not to Manchester City. That would do his career real harm. Rodgers' strength is his strength and ability to carry the ball, similar to Grealish, but we saw what happened to Grealish when he joined City. He had the flair sucked out of him and was turned into a robot. Why does that happen?
I don't agree with that, because look at Doku at Manchester City. He gets the ball, doesn't he, and takes players on and enjoys his football. I think maybe with Jack, he probably got told maybe at times, I know at Aston Villa, you could go into the number 10 position, you could float wherever you wanted, you can come and get the ball off Tyrone Mings, but here at Manchester City, you stay in your positions. You know, if you receive the ball, give it, look for a 1-2, give it to Kevin De Bruyne, he's going to switch it to Mahrez. Maybe you get told more tactically how to play under Pep.
And would that hamper Morgan Rodgers, or could he deal with it?
I think he could deal with it, but I wouldn't want him to go to City. I just feel like the options
He's
that they've
been
got.
At Manchester City. You remember he came through at Manchester City.
What about United?
Look at who? Newcastle. Listen, Newcastle United, not Manchester United. Listen, I'm not comfortable talking about this, Sam, to be honest. I want to stay at Aston Villa.
But you don't do the running order, sadly.
I think, can we move on to Nottingham Forest?
Matthew Dixon says, FFP is there for a reason. Do what Spurs did, painstakingly build up your revenue streams and infrastructure over 20 years and then don't spend any money. Matt's a Spurs fan in Enfield. Martin says, Villa sell Rodgers, bring back Grealish, £40 million profit and a number 10 to replace him. Carl says, could you see Morgan going back to Man City with Silva leaving? We've just sort of really touched on that. And Jill says, morning, Crookie looks like he could play the next Super Mario.
Yeah, I get that. I'll take that.
And that's because of the picture that we put up of you in the green.
I went to see that film the other day, by the way.
Did you?
It's rubbish.
There's a shot. What, did you go on your own? Or you did take your kids,
I took the kids.
Okay, it was probably
they enjoyed it more than I did.
The only problem I got, Sam, as well, is I look at Villa's squad and who else has got a big value?
There's not many.
There's not many, is there? Tielemans, to Saudi maybe? Looking at the ages of some of the players, we've got quite an ageing squad of players. Yeah. If you are in trouble financially, you might have no choice.
So are you saying that this is as good as it gets for Aston Villa? With that aging squad, having to sell their best players, manager might leave?
Listen, if Aston Villa get Champions League football, the manager will stay. It's just going to be frustrating for him with what other teams are spending. Teams that finish near the bottom of the table, like Manchester United, go and spend nearly 300 million.
Well, listen, you've got a bit of stick on social media for the nearly 300 million. You've got your maths wrong. It's more like 225, I think.
I deal in euros, Alex.
I heard he got a little bit of stick from a caller the other day as well, who rung in and tried to correct him about Ruud van Nistelrooy, but that must have been a bad dream. Baby Gabby crying again about finances. Didn't hear anyone on TalkSport complaining when Arsenal had to sell all our players, and this is when stadium expansion was part of FFP. You guys have it easy compared to us. And Max says, you're right about Grealish becoming a robot, a winning machine. A winning machine, not just a robot, a winning machine, because they won the treble. Obviously, I think he enjoyed that evening. That is for sure. What about Nottingham Forest? They got out of Porto with a draw last night, courtesy of one of the most bizarre own goals you'd see. They were denied a goal actually right at the end of the game, with Igor Jesus judged to have fouled the goalkeeper. I thought that was a little bit iffy. I'm not entirely sure that was fair. And next up for Villa, actually, in the league, is Nottingham Forest, and they do expect to play them in the semi-final. He made 9 changes last night. That was a gamble, but it paid off.
Yeah, he did well, really. And I understand why he made the 9 changes, because obviously Premier League survival is the priority. Big bonus to get Chris Wood back. If he can get a couple of goals between now and the end of the season, that probably will steer them to safety. But you're right about the own goal. Absolutely calamitous, but a really good result considering the changes.
You know what I loved
great
about
chance
that,
to
though?
go through.
When I seen the own goal, I was buzzing. Do you know why? Because I'm sick of players passing it back to the keeper every opportunity.
From the halfway line.
There was no pressure on him. There was no one pressing him.
It was Martin Fernandes who was the Porto fullback.
Because everyone's been drilled the same type of football now. You get the ball, just give it back to the keeper, go again. Turn and play forward.
Do you know what? And
honestly,
when I was a kid, and you'd have had this as well, Crook. Like, you know, even at the rubbish level that I played at, if I passed the ball back within the width of the post, I'd get the biggest rollicking ever.
Yes.
The golden rule, wasn't it?
But that's Martin O'Neill will be the same. Why are you passing it back to the keeper? But now, even Aston Villa first half, it was pick the ball up in midfield, win the ball, not going forward, back to the keeper. And I'm just like, this football is not entertaining.
No, but certainly the watching the goal over and over and over again was quite entertaining. I was at Crystal Palace last night. Thought they were absolutely terrific in the first half. They applied themselves brilliantly. They actually were under the cosh for the first 5 minutes, then really took the game to their opponents, Fiorentina, last night. It was the first real test they've had in the Conference League, and they kind of flattered to deceive up until this point, but they turned it on last night.
Did you get a cuddle off Mateta after the game? He seems to be quite in a friendly mood.
I didn't get down there quick enough to get one. I would have taken one, I'm going to be honest.
Listen, on a serious note, it was a great win for Crystal Palace, and you look at the teams that they've got to face now, it should be just a case of dotting the I's and crossing the T's when they go to Florence next week. I think they've got every chance, haven't they, of putting a European trophy in the cabinet. And then obviously Oliver Glasner heads to the hills as a two-time trophy winner as Crystal Palace manager.
Yeah, Mateta also got quite a good response, actually, bearing in mind that there was a little bit of doubt as to whether or not, you know, when he does that kick where he jumps up and smashes the corner flag, whether they were going to all go do the boom at the end, because there was a bit of a debate on a couple of Palace podcasts as to whether or not they were going to see that through because of the AC Milan transfer and the fact that he was talking about wanting to leave. But he ended up getting almost a standing ovation and a lap of honour as he left the pitch last night. So it seems as if those wounds have healed. And I think that's different, isn't it? Over the course of the last few weeks, they've all just started to come back together again after a real fractious time. And if you look back at the defensive record during that period from February onwards, they've started to eke out results and clean sheets again.
Yeah. We know it's all about confidence and consistency, but you look at the running for the relegation candidates. Only West Ham play Crystal Palace now, and that's next Monday. So that'll be the Monday after the return leg. Could you see Crystal Palace resting a few players? Could that work?
They could be in a semi-final by that point. They would expect to be in a semi-final.
Yeah, but if they're playing their best side next Thursday, do they rest a few for the Monday game at home to West Ham? West Ham have got 2 winnable games coming up.
There is 10 days before the semi-final after that, so it might be the following game in which they rest the players. But they've got AZ Alkmaar or Shakhtar Donetsk in the semi-final if they get through. If they get through.
And it could be in a great position next season. So if they win the Conference League, they're into the Europa League.
Yep.
Is that correct?
Finally get into
amazing for a new manager who's coming in the summer.
As long as they've done all the admin. Let's have they've done the admin this year. If you're a Palace fan and you were there last night, let us know where you feel. I thought the atmosphere was probably the best, one of the best. Actually, someone did say to me they thought it was one of the best nights ever at Selhurst Park. Now, I said the same each year coming into the summer. After everything Emery has done at Villa with the restraints on finances is close to a miracle. While clubs are 1.3 billion in debt, I think the word sustainable is quite ironic. There should be a level playing field for all clubs. All clubs can spend 100 million each year, regardless of your stature, as long as you can prove that you have got it in the bank. It's the only way the Premier League can be fair.
You didn't need to text him. You sat right there, Gab.
He does also say, up the Villa, Gabby is a legend.
From Birmingham.
From Gabby. No, Freddie Upton from Leamington Spa.
From Solihull.
Yeah. 03717223344. Sam Matterface, Alex Crook and Gabby Agbonlahor here with Selco Builders Warehouse. It's where the trade go.
I mean, I know you want to be diplomatic and you'll maybe tiptoe around a bit. Would you have gone in for the Tottenham job? Would you have taken it? Given what we've seen, we watched Tottenham and everyone's sort of dancing around it.
You just mentioned something there, and this would be more important to me, and obviously the career I've had, it does pay well. I wouldn't go in there. I wasn't looking for money. They could offer me a massive amount of money. I'm sure they're capable of it, and I'm sure, well, allegedly, they've offered De Zerbi a massive amount of money.
It would have been about
No, it'd have been about what you're going to gain me as a human being. What would I gain, right? You go in there, you get the job done. 6 games into next season. If you're not in the top 4 and the football's not what they want, rubbish, get them out. So you're not going to gain a lot there, are you? So then, and that's if you get the job done, because it's not easy. And then you don't get the job done, and then somehow it's on my neck that I took Tottenham down. You go, well, that ain't good for me as a human. This is not even about football. I'm going, well, that ain't good, is it?
What do you reckon?
You know what I mean? So I go, and then you get some money, and I go, well, I'm not thirsty for that. I've got some money, so how much do you want?
You know the dynamic of the industry. We all know the 2 biggest commodities in football are talent and gossip, right? Or money and gossip. money and gossip, right?
You must have sad, isn't it? If it's an equal measure, money and gossip beats talent.
Money and gossip was what I meant. Money and gossip, right? What do you think is wrong with Tottenham?
Well, I mean, I find it I find it really interesting from the outside. I know Thomas, and if I was a Tottenham fan, and I know a few, I thought the manager was getting a hell of a lot of heat and weight on that. And if I was Tottenham, I'd be looking at some of the players. Me personally, I'd be going, hang on a minute, look at all this money they've spent. And money doesn't guarantee anything, by the way. It's another myth about football, but it gives you a better chance. And you're going, right, so they spend this money.
Aston Villa should make the Europa League semi-final. That's according to talkSPORT's Andy Townsend, who thought 2-goal Ollie Watkins was the best player on the pitch.
Right on time, Ollie Watkins has poked one in from 3 or 4 yards. Shambolic defending, but he was terrific tonight, Watkins. Really impressed with his all-round game, and that's a huge lead now to take into the second leg.
Villa won 3-1 at Bologna. Unai Emery had focused on set pieces, but was able to pivot to go more direct to Watkins and Rodgers.
The second half, we connect better with them, with more passes. And through it, we played very good 25-30 minutes the second half, and we scored the second goal, and we didn't concede a lot.
Now, if you haven't seen this Porto own goal yet, look it up. Martin Fernandez, 40-yard ping of a back pass, caught his keeper and talkSPORT's Joe Shannon off guard.
9 changes in terms of personnel. Yes, they've made plenty in European competition this season in games, Nottingham Forest.
Oh, that's going to be an own goal! One of the most remarkable own goals I've ever seen.
Meanwhile, Oliver Glasner says when they stick together, Palace will get results. They got a huge one, beating Fiorentina 3-0 at Selhurst Park. Mateta scored his first goal since New Year's Day. And does overnight co-leader Rory McIlroy feel more relaxed after his win last year?
No, I was nervous. I was anxious, just like I always am in that first tee.
The leaderboard is packed with big names. There's more at talksport.com.
Hello, it's talkSPORT. It's Sam Matterface, Alex Crook, and we've got Gabby Agbonlahor here this morning. If you want to get in touch, it's 0371 722 3344. Big game this weekend at Nottingham Forest, obviously in action against Aston Villa at the same time at 2 o'clock on Sunday. It's Sunderland against Tottenham Hotspur. Game Day Live comes to you from Stamford Bridge, where Crook and I will be watching Chelsea against Manchester City. And Roberto De Zerbi will face the glare of the cameras as he tries to rescue Tottenham Hotspur's season. He's the 3rd man in the dugout this season, trying to help the Europa League holders as they stare down the prospect of relegation. How does he go about saving Spurs? Because we were talking about this on the Premier League All Access podcast. He's a pure football man. He wants to play a certain way, but the time it takes to get that injected into the players' veins is not long enough for the time that he's had in terms of being on the training ground. So does he have to be a little bit more simple in his approach? Does he have to work with the resources he's got?
Yeah.
And what are those?
What has he had? He's probably had nearly 10 days maybe before the game kicks off. he can't have that hard approach, I don't think, at this stage. That's got to be something in the summer, and you work out who's with you, who's not. At the moment, he's got to work out what formation he's going to play, who's going to be his best players. And you look at the midfielders available, written down, Sam, like Bergvall, Gallagher, Paulinho, Sarr, Gray. Out of those centre midfielders, who do you choose out of them?
Well, it's great to have Bergvall back for a start, and it's great to have a choice, because one of the problems they've had over the season is they haven't been able to have a choice because there's been so many injuries.
But even going forward, Tell, Simmons.
Kudos has picked up a setback, hasn't he?
Exactly. Moani, Solanke, Richarlison. He's got to work out which of these players is going to get the goals that they need. Van der Ven, second top goal scorer. Richarlison's got 9. Then Van der Ven and Romero have got 4. And then I think Towell's got 3. It's not good enough. It's really not good enough. Someone's got to step up in that team.
It's been an act of self-harm, hasn't it, over the course of the season from Tottenham Hotspur, going back to not getting the recruitment right in the summer, appointing the wrong managers at the wrong time, and ranking bottom for errors leading to goals in the Premier League this season. We'll joint bottom with Aston Villa on 12. So they're out on their own as the worst side in the league for errors leading to chances. And when De Zerbi was in charge of Brighton, his Brighton team ended up being bottom of that table as well. So his style of football fits into the way that Spurs have been playing so far this season, because it's high risk, high reward. They can't do that.
No, they can't.
Because they can't afford to lose.
They haven't got the goalkeeper to do it for the start. He likes his keepers to play out from the back. I think Vicario, over the course of the season, has been a problem. Obviously, he's injured now. You assume that Kinksky would go in goal, but again, I'm not overly convinced by him.
How's his head?
Well, exactly, after what happened in that Champions League game. But I was with Lewis Dunk, Brighton captain at the darts last night, and he is convinced that De Zerbi will keep them up. He thinks he's an absolute genius, and actually a couple of the backroom staff were there as well. Yes, he's demanding, but I think, as you said, he will tailor his playing style to embrace the situation that he finds himself in. It's all about 2 wins, probably, to keep them up. I still think it's a tall order. I think 2 wins will be enough.
Oh, you look at the table there.
West Ham are playing Wolves tonight. If West Ham win this evening, it puts the pressure on, doesn't it?
100%. Look at the games Spurs have got left. I mean, Sunderland away. Sunderland away. Pressure's off for Sunderland. Fantastic against Newcastle.
What's made you change your mind? Because you said you couldn't see at one stage them, and this is I don't think they've played a fixture since. By the way,
no, I'm not saying they will stay up. I'm saying people at Brighton think that he is a good enough manager to keep them up. I think with the run of fixtures they've got...
You said it's too hard for them to get the wins that they need.
I think they'll lose at Sunderland. Not many teams go there and win.
Brighton
I
at
can
home
see
next.
Brighton beating them in his first home game. And all of a sudden, you've got 5 matches then to get those 2 victories. They've got Leeds away, I think it is, and Wolves at home. They look the 2 most winnable.
Does it make a difference with what happens tonight? So if West Ham were to drop points tonight, all of a sudden, does it give you a different feeling going into that game on Sunday?
If West Ham win tonight, it's like, whoa, the pressure's on. You cannot afford to lose against Sunderland. And I look at their fixtures, so Crookie. Sunderland away, Sam. Brighton at home, his old club. He'll know most of those players at Brighton. They'll be dying to beat their old manager. And everyone seems to have fun at the Spurs Stadium. Wolves away after that. Yes, that's a tough game. Pressure's off Wolves. They know they're going down. They're playing for their futures. Whoever Wolves play between now and the end of the season is a tough game. Then you've got Aston Villa away. Aston Villa fighting for Champions League. Then you've got a relegation 6-pointer against Leeds at home. Chelsea away, they always lose to Chelsea. Then Everton at home on the last game of the season. Everton might need to win or draw to get into European places.
Yeah. But all of this is hypothetical, because we're just looking at fixtures and saying, well, this team and that team can do this and that. They've got a completely different mindset now because they've got a new manager. But have they got the ability to get a different mindset out of the players? Because he seemingly is faced with the same challenges that his predecessors were faced with, which is, I imagine, quite difficult to overcome. But what's more difficult to overcome? A squad that's devoid of confidence and leadership, a significantly terrible injury list, which is denying them some of their top players, or a fan base who aren't quite sure where they are. Because even when they have been engaged, the results haven't backed that up, and very quickly they found themselves on the back foot again.
I don't think the issue is about ability. I take on board the injuries they've got. I still think Gabby's listed the players. There's some quality in that squad. That they're not, to me, a team on paper who should be in a relegation battle. The reason they are is because the mindset hasn't been right, the attitude, the application has been left wanting. I think De Zerbi will get that from them.
Yeah.
I think he will get more of a response than Igor Tudor did.
Ability wasn't in that list that I just gave you. It was injury list, confidence, and leadership. And
They've certainly lacked leadership.
Just wonder whether or not he's going to cozy up to Christian Romero and get behind him and get the best out of him, or whether those two will clash.
There's different styles, different managers. I played under managers that they'll put an arm around you. Some of them won't. I couldn't imagine Igor Tudor to put his arm around a player. I think De Zerbi's going to have to. He's going to have to understand the players. Which players have got short fuses? You can't go toe-to-toe with Romero. You have to put an arm around him. Strikers that aren't scoring, Sam, can you give them confidence? Listen, you're a great player. Come on, I know how good you are. Composure. Wingers, take your player on. Confidence. He's got to put his arm around some of these players because, yes, they've got decent players, but we've named the fixtures. Doesn't matter what players you've got. It matters, have you got the confidence? Have you got the love from a manager to go out and put in a performance? It's some tough games, Sam.
He did that really well with the senior players at Brighton. He got those on side very quickly, and I think he's going to have to do that here as well.
Well, Adam Lallana sort of credits him with a sort of desire now to go into coaching and be a manager because of the way that De Zerbi worked.
I've seen a funny stat the other day, Sam. PSG have won more home games against English opposition since January 2025 than Spurs. Wow. And they don't play in the Premier League.
And that's that's going to be key, isn't it? Those home games you mentioned, Brighton, Leeds, and Everton.
Yes.
Because it's been a tough place for Tottenham.
I know you put your arm around a Premier League defender in Lewis Dunk last night at the darts, but if you saw Christian Romero at the darts, would you put your arm around him?
No.
Let's go to Alex, who's a Spurs fan. Hello.
All right, how you doing, guys? All right?
Yeah, we're good, thank you. Alex, what do you want to say about Tottenham Hotspur? Listen, Roberto De Zerbi, obviously first game in charge. How does he approach it?
Well, I've heard your comments now about putting your arm around the players, and I'd have to disagree with it because I think most of the pundits were saying the same thing about Thomas Frank when he started in August. He was this man manager. Putting his arm around players, and look how that ended up. I think players, what they need now is a manager who's got a clear plan, clear instructions, clear tactics, and a way of getting these players to fight, because they're not fighting at the moment. They're not fighting for the badge, they're not fighting for the club, and we can waffle on for hours on end about opinions and the consequences. And I think some of the fans, my mates in London, are actually thinking this is a win-win situation for our club, Tottenham, because the winning is if we get relegated, it means we will have to have a change of ownership because our fan base is intoxicated with bad leadership from the top.
Who's going to buy you in the Championship?
No one's not. It's not about who's going to buy you in the Championship. It's about whether or not they would sell you in the Championship. They're not going to do that because the value of the company would go down so dramatically that wouldn't happen.
Well, that's the consequences of their leadership, isn't it? And that's quite laughable that the Lewis family actually will come out short-changed of an entertainment machine which they built. And I'd like to put another point across because this point is very valid for what is happening with the injuries to our players, and that is the pitch. The pitch is retractable, and what's happening now is that pitch is underneath the stand getting ready for the Tyson Fury boxing match, right? And I would imagine De Zerbi would have loved to have had a lot of hours and time to train out on that pitch. The grass is dying, and that is why players are injuring their ACLs, because there is no sunlight
You're
under
away
there
to
for that
Sunderland
pitch.
this weekend, not at home, by the way.
And not many teams train on their home pitch, do they?
Yeah, I get that, but the pitch is still underneath the stand, Abby, and that's Gabby, and that's the same now with Real Madrid, and our pitch is getting removed from sunlight more often now than it has been before because of all the events going on there, and that is a contributing factor to where Tottenham's squad is now with all their injuries, and I feel that is a fact that needs to be discussed, and that is something the owners need to deal with.
But it is a fact that the pitch is retractable. It is a fact that it is used for other events, but the number of other events that it is used for, although they're significant, it's not a ridiculous amount. So the pitch will still get quite a lot of sunlight, I think, and there is a way of treating that. But also, we don't know for a fact that that's the reason that the injuries are being caused for. I mean, most of the injuries have happened when they've been at the training centre, which is supposed to be state of the art. But it certainly does need investigation. I think Tottenham did do one, and they changed all of their medical staff during the Ange Postecoglou era in order to try and prevent injuries. But it's certainly a problem that needs looking into. 03717 2233 44 if you want to get involved in the debate. Crookie changing his mind again, says one texter. This geezer throws so many darts at some points he can say he was right.
I haven't changed my mind. I still think Tottenham will go down. What I'm saying is, speaking of people at Brighton, they think De Zerbi is going to keep them up.
I mean, but as a theme, that is pretty accurate.
I've got a nice message here, by the way, for you, Sam, from a Palace fan. Jake, he says, I was there last night. It was one of the best and biggest nights at Selhurst in my life. I grew up on Scunthorpe and Carlisle away on a Wednesday night. Now we're heading to Florence with a 3-goal lead to get into a winnable European semi-final. Complete madness. And if we continue to play like we did last night, we're going to win the whole thing. It's good. When you start talking about big clubs, you get response, don't you? Any Villa fans getting in touch?
Wait, where are you going next Thursday, Alex? Be careful. Don't make me stitch you up.
The way he's going right now, he's not going anywhere. I thought you've invited him to your house.
I have. I invited him to stay next Thursday at my house.
Have I got the West Wing?
Yeah, you have. But maybe I might just go from Villa Park to a nice Villa pub and throw him in there.
Yeah, send him to
You know what he's been saying about you, Villa fans?
03717 2233 44. That's the number to call if you want to get in touch. We'd love to hear from you. This is talkSPORT.
I am delighted to say the man from Hackney, 28-year-old Viddal Riley, European Cruiserweight champion, joins us live in the studio. Loving it. The belts, the spoils of war. Well done.
I just want to say, I was born in Hackney, but I am from Tottenham.
Right.
Yeah.
Better be diplomatic on that one. How was it for you?
It was, it was a great experience being under a new promoter, new energy, big stage, just having the arena full to that capacity at the time as well, and just embracing my moment, just putting so much work in to get there, and just finally just enjoying being under the lights. It's been a year since I was out, since I was out again. So yeah, it just felt good to be back. It felt good.
Good. What kind of a step up was Masternak for you? Because this was a seasoned pro. He'd been in with Billum Smith. He'd been in with Tony Bellew. Hadn't won, but he'd been in with him.
Yes, no. Going into the fight, I never took him lightly. I never thought, okay, he's 38 now, I'm younger, that's going to be enough. There's a reason why he's been in the game this long. 50 wins, 33 knockouts. I'm going into the fight with 13 fights. There's no respectful reason for me to underestimate him. So I always knew it was going to pose this challenge, but I always knew that I could win in good fashion.
What do you think of this fella, Simon?
I thought it was a first-class performance. I mean, I think ultimately you talk about levels, and this guy was a European champion, obviously.
Hello and welcome to talkSPORT Goals. We're taking you through what should be another busy day of football.
Chance to win it!
We don't need to do that, guys.
I'm going to owe you an apology.
How would you get to that conclusion?
That's a weak mentality.
Oh, get out of it.
It's talkSPORT, it's Sam Matterface and Alex Crook with Gabby Agbonlahor. What?
Of the Villa. Thank you, Alex. I wonder why you're saying that.
I'm just making sure I've got a bed for next week. Saving this company money, by the way.
By the way, it is a bit weird that is his line, right? So when he says to you, he rings you up, like he has done to you, or he says to you, whispers to you, whatever. He says, can I come and stay with you, right? So it's either staying in your hotel room or in your house or whatever. He likes to do this quite a lot. And his line is, I'm saving the company money.
Yes.
What he really
I hope they appreciate it out there.
What he really means is that
Saving him money.
he can't be on his own. He needs to be looked after.
But now he's going to stay at mine next Thursday. Now I won't have the kids next Thursday. I'll have them Friday instead.
I can meet your kids.
No, you can stay in one of the kids' rooms. That's why, mate.
No.
No spare rooms.
No one wants you to meet their kids. The injury problem isn't that there's not enough sunlight getting to the pitch, it's because there isn't enough soft soil, so the players' studs are getting stuck in the compact soil. Same is happening in Madrid and their tractable pitch, says one texter. The training facilities at Spurs are to blame for the injuries. The balance clearly of plastic and grass isn't right. Players are getting numerous injuries. It's all different types. And the medical team, despite being changed, are clearly not able to sort it, says Rich in Dagenham.
I don't know if we can find this out, but what about the opposition teams that play at the Spurs Stadium? Be interesting to see how many players got injured.
Well, also,
Grant
how many
MacArthur
players
says-
actually got injured at Tottenham?
Well, Grant MacArthur says the Spurs fans should watch Richard Hammond's documentary on the Spurs Stadium. The retractable pitch has UV light treating it when it's underground, as well as a robot lawnmower to keep it at the right length. Right, okay. Let's speak to Kate, who's a Spurs fan. A spare Spurs fan, who joins us now. Hi, Kate.
Morning, guys.
Kate, can I just say, first of all, before you get into it, we don't want to go all Gardner's world. We haven't got a clue about whether or not it's the pitch that's causing us an issue. We don't want to hear about greenhouses and tomatoes and what you're growing and Deso pitches. Just tell us about the football. Go for it.
Exactly. First of all, I just wanted to say condolences on the passing of your father, first of all. I thought your show the other day was so incredibly brave. And, hats off to you, Sam.
Thanks, Kate.
Also, look, I'm actually going to choose to be a fan about this. I'm not going to try and be a pundit. I'm going to be a fan, and I'm going to say I think De Zerbi is going to get enough out of this team to keep us up. Kudus is a massive loss because, we was all looking forward to that bit of creativity coming back. But I just think I don't think it's to do with the pitch. I think it's to do with the attitude at the club. I think there's a poor mentality in the squad. And it's been there for a long time, even to the point that where Daniel Levy bought them watches for being runners-up. These guys are used to losing and to have enough to keep us up this year.
I agree that he's going to get a tune out of these players. By all accounts, they're enjoying his training methods. It's just that run of fixtures that if I was a Tottenham fan, I'd be concerned because it looks a really hard running.
Are you worried about the goalkeeper situation, Kate? Because Antonin Kinski's last experience of playing for Spurs was being withdrawn after 17 minutes in the game in the Metropolitano. I mean, it's a big ask now, isn't it, to come in for the rest of the season and say, you've got to keep us up?
Yeah, I mean, theoretically, it's only one game because Vicario should be back for Brighton. But
do you think so?
Neither of our goalkeepers are.
Is that a good thing?
That's what the exactly, Gabby. Don't lay it on. Come on. Give me a break
Kate.
here.
Sorry.
I personally would chuck in Brandon Austin. I've seen him in training, and
I was just about to mention him.
Well, we did a couple of games, didn't we, Kate? He
got man of the match on his Premier League debut
in Hoffenheim. We did the Newcastle game where he was superb.
Exactly. So I would give him a go. I don't think we've got anything to lose. Kinski's going to be really short of confidence, and if he does happen to make a mistake early on, that could destroy him even further. So for me, obviously I'm not a football manager, but I'd give Austin a go because I think it'll show an element of bravery. This guy's going to want to go out there and cement his sort of place in the team. And that's what I would do personally.
You talked about personality and you talked about bringing a bit of fire, which Roberto De Zerbi will do, but I think he'll do it in a slightly different way. But Igor Tudor has already come in and tried this hard-nosed method. He can't do the same thing, can he?
No, but you know what I think is, Sam? Right or wrong, and believe me, I don't agree with the way the players behave, but I don't think Tudor had the respect there because no one knew who he was as a manager, if you like. He's not had Premier League experience, whereas I think people know who De Zerbi is. And I think I don't know. I don't think he'd go in all guns blazing. I think there'd be an element, we've already seen it in training with Bergvall. He's got his arm around his shoulder. There's got to be a happy medium there. If they need a kick up the backside, they get it, but they also get told they're the best player in the world. That's what managers are paid big bucks to do, and he'll find the balance. I just hope he finds it in time to keep us up.
Kate, thank you very much. Enjoy the game at the weekend. Remember, you can follow it on talkSPORT with Game Day Live. Crook and I'll be at Stamford Bridge for Chelsea against Manchester City. What did you need as a player? Tough love?
Bit of both. I feel like I was still part of the old school generation. I mean, the youth team that I went through, literally the old school Scottish managers in the youth team, you got called every name under the sun. So I liked a bit of like the manager getting at you if you're not performing. But when I was leaving Aston Villa, some of the younger players coming through, they needed an arm around the shoulder. If you screamed at them, you lost them.
What did you like Roy Keane getting on your back though? Did you?
No, I didn't mind. We had some good battles, mate.
You're okay with it?
Where we went toe to toe.
What turned you off? What made you throw the toys out the pram?
Toys out the pram. Probably when a manager, especially like Remy Gardy.
Oh yeah, do you remember?
When he would stand 20, 30 metres away from the training pitch and not get involved with training and just have his arms folded. I like a manager who's there on the training pitch. Tim Sherwood was great for it. Steve Bruce, Martin O'Neill, they're there. Well, the
you didn't like the distance. Someone who created a bit of distance between.
Between the players, like shaking your head at some of the training sessions. You're the manager. Come and put it right. What's going wrong in the training session? He just folded his arms, stood there and watched. That sort of arrogance. And yeah, but even the French players at the time, there was many of them, and they didn't like him either.
It wasn't just because he benched you and said you weren't fit enough. No,
well, that was the main reason. We're not on a break.
Spurs fans clashing at straws for excuses. They just can't face the fact that they're not very good. Plenty of teams have gone there this season and left without any good injuries. I don't have much of a horn to blow from being a Forest fan, but at least we could admit that our players haven't been 100% this season instead of making excuses. That's from Adam. And Greeno, the postie, says, lads, I don't know about something out of Super Mario, but Crookie looks like Mr. Tumbles in that Masters gear. I'm on Oscar's brother in the National, though, Crookie. We're all on that. Don't worry about that. 03717 2233 4 is the number to call if you want to get in touch. This is talkSPORT.
Sporting had previously won 17 home games in a row across all competitions. Arteta was interesting on that. Arsenal looked at that record and thought, oh yeah, watch this.
That's when you have a difficult period. I think the best thing that you can do instead of talk a lot is observe. Look around you and see how people react. How they talk, how they look at you, how they judge you, what they do. Do they look at themselves? Do they start to criticize other people? Look around and you're going to learn the environment and the people that you have around you. And I cannot be prouder to work in a club with people that the only thing they could do is ask, what else can I do to help? And when you have people like this, I don't know if it's going to take another week or two, but something good it will happen at the end because we deserve it.
There's a smirk that's almost a little giggle from Simon. Why?
I just think it's a new way of communicating that doesn't really resonate with me. I mean, players' jobs are to perform in every single game as much as they possibly can. And what you could ask the away travelling fans was how they could have been helped on Saturday with the embarrassment of losing to Southampton. You know, those circumstances. But what it does prove is that the idea that you've got to take each game in isolation. Every game has its own connotation. The cup final against Man City was a 50-50 game in which Arsenal didn't play well in the second half. The cup quarter final was a poor performance. You and lots of people yesterday were referring to the
talkSPORT. talkSPORT Sports Update, powered by the Nissan Van range, supporting van owners to get the job done. Search Nissan Vans or head to your local Nissan Van Centre.
With your headlines at 11:01, I'm Nick Ellaby. Good morning. 3 days after Steven Gerrard told us this about Arne Slot's future at Liverpool.
If the ownership and the people above, they see that gap the Villa and United stretches or gets any worse, I worry for the manager's position.
Slot insists he's still feeling the love.
I've said it many times, I feel a lot of support, but not only from the owners and from Richard and Michael. As weird as it might sound, I also feel the support of the fans.
Alisson is still out for Liverpool's game at home to Fulham, but the fit-again Alexander Isak could start. Eddie Howe has again reiterated his 100% commitment to Newcastle has never wavered. The Times reports Howe's been given reassurances behind the scenes after Newcastle's CEO last week was non-committal on his manager's future. Villa legend Gabby Agbonlahor does not want Morgan Rogers to leave the club, even if they do get $100 million for him. Gab says Villa's owners want to win it all, and so does Emery.
He'll be so frustrated if he has to sell Rodgers because of financial fair play. If these rules were fair and you didn't have to sell a player to sort out the debt that you might have, then there's no way they would sell Rodgers. Why would you?
We understand it's likely Rodgers will be sold to balance Villa's books. Ollie Watkins helped them to a 3-1 win at Bologna in the Europa League last night. And joint leader of the Masters after day one, Rory McIlroy, says winning last year has allowed him to be a bit looser this time around.
I think it's easier for me to make those swings and not worry about where it goes when I know that I can go to the champions locker room and put my green jacket on and have a Coke Zero at the end of the day.
Other soft drinks are available. Meanwhile, Bob McIntyre could be in trouble with the organisers at Augusta. He flipped a middle finger toward the 15th green after going into the water. More at talksport.com.
talkSPORT News.
A violent abuser has been convicted of killing his wife after she jumped from a bridge to escape him. And Sir Keir Starmer's fed up with economic shocks caused by the actions of Putin and Trump. Emma has more in half an hour.
talkSPORT weather with QuickFit. We now take American Express. More flexibility, same expert service. QuickFit. Drive away happy every time.
Dry with sunny spells, cloud increasing though, rain moving into western areas later, strong winds and back to average temperatures, more unsettled into the weekend.
Hello and welcome to talkSPORT Goals. We've been taking you through what should be another busy day of football.
Chance to win it!
We don't need to do that, guys.
I'm going to owe you an apology.
How would you get to that conclusion?
That's a weak mentality.
Oh, get out of it.
What a weekend to come on talkSPORT. We got live football tonight. West Ham against Wolverhampton Wanderers. Arsenal against Bournemouth is live at 12:30 on Saturday. Sunday, we're round the grounds game day live from Stamford Bridge as Chelsea take on Manchester City. Monday night, we've also got live football for you with Manchester United against Leeds. It's absolutely jam-packed. And of course, on Saturday at 2:30, Adrian takes you around the grounds in the EFL and in the Premier League and beyond as well. And Liverpool and Fulham will certainly be part of his agenda. It's time for this.
Inside Series on talkSPORT with BetMGM. Watch the latest Inside Series episode live on talkSPORT's YouTube channel now. 18+, gambleaware.org.
Let's see. This week, Jermaine Pennant went on a rant about Slot's change of tactics and how awful he thought the setup was against PSG. And that was all on the latest Inside Liverpool episode.
I cannot remember my time watching Liverpool, playing for Liverpool, ever seen us go for 3 defenders, a back 5. I've never seen it. So to implement that in a quarter-final, where you need a lot of time to change to a new style, a new system, especially defensively, you've got to drill it in day after day, week after week. To do it in 4 to 5 days, and then go in a quarter-final away at PSG and think you're going to get a good outcome, think you're going to be successful, is beyond me. This is we're playing against the European champions. What you do, you set up in the system that you're used to, that everybody knows, and you play solid. You don't have to put an extra defender in. You just play solid. If you want to play the low block, fine. Everyone get behind the ball. Make it tight, compact, so they have to play around you.
Don't forget, you can watch all the latest Inside Series episodes live on talkSPORT's YouTube channel now. That's all thanks to BetMGM, 18+, begambleaware.org.
Inside Series on talkSPORT with BetMGM. Watch the latest Inside Series episode live on talkSPORT's YouTube channel now. 18+, gambleaware.org.
I wonder if managing the Liverpool dressing room is as difficult as managing this studio with you two in it. Let's hear from the Liverpool manager, Arne Slot, who has been speaking this morning, and he's been pretty positive about the supporters' reaction to him.
I'm repeating myself a lot, but I've said it many times. I feel a lot of support, but not only from the owners and from Richard and Michael, but I feel a lot of support from them as well. But as weird as it might sound, I also feel the support of the fans. And we were going out in Paris when the players went out for the warm-up, and the fans, after a 4-0 loss, immediately started saying, "We love you, Liverpool." And after we were, I think it's fair to say, outplayed over 90 minutes, we went to the away end, and they were still singing for us and clapping for us. So that support we felt constantly, and I think, but I've said this many times as well, the club knows in which period of time we are in, and in the meantime, I feel complete support, yes.
Fulham have got a decent record against Liverpool. They score a lot of goals against Liverpool, maybe not a decent record, but they've got a good history against Liverpool at Anfield. He was talking there about being outplayed. Now, he has to take a certain amount of responsibility for that. I was with a professional footballer yesterday. We were talking about the Liverpool setup for that game, and it wasn't the back three that perturbed him the most. It was the switch to a back three that perturbed him most. It was the fact they decided to go man for man against one of the best teams in the world when they don't really do that on a regular basis. Why did he decide to approach it like that?
I didn't understand it. When I saw the formation, I thought, yeah, this is the right idea. You know, the back three, wing backs, and you're going to make it difficult for PSG to get through. But going man to man, I've seen a part in the first half where I think it was Konate. He was touch and go deep into the PSG half to try and follow Dembele. And I'm thinking, 3 centre-backs, stay back. Make it frustrating. Don't offer any spacing behind for PSG. Mm-hmm. The right formation, but the wrong tactics.
No central defender wants to go in there and have space behind them.
They hate it. They hate going out wide. They hate going further than the 18-yard box. They don't like it. It's uncomfortable for them.
It was a point Ali McCoy's made a lot in commentary, actually, watching on TV, about Virgil van Dijk, just how high up the pitch he was having to find himself. And Ali's point was, like you guys are saying, he looks uncomfortable. There's just so much wrong with Liverpool at the moment. I looked at the lineup. Obviously, they've not got their first-choice goalkeeper. He did all right, Mamardashvili, but he isn't Alisson. Frimpong, you've been a bit critical of already this morning. Just not a player who I think strikes any fear into opposing players. Vierts did all right to a point, but again, I still feel like he's not quite on the same wavelength as his teammates. The midfield has been a real issue, but considering it was the sort of fulcrum of their title success last season, I think Gravenberch has gone backwards. McAllister has dropped off a bit as well. Szoboszlai probably the only one who's maintained standards. So it's difficult to see where they go from here, Liverpool, because you mentioned it off air. They've got players leaving this summer. They spent an awful lot of money last summer. Feels to me like they're going to have to do it again.
It's interesting because I was just mentioning to you outside that I think we're almost in sort of rebuild mode again with Salah leaving and Robertson leaving. But you just mentioned the midfield situation. Well, actually, they didn't do what they wanted to do 2 seasons ago, which was bring in one of those holding midfield players that dictates the play, the metronomic player. Well, he wanted Lavia and they wanted Zubamendi.
Was done at one stage.
They thought they'd got Zubamendi and then it didn't work. But then they reinvented Gravenberch. But instead of thinking, well, we reinvented Gravenberch, but that's not going to last forever, they thought, well, actually, we've stumbled over it now. We'll keep that. They haven't brought in anybody else to take his place. And this year, he hasn't been as good as he was last year when he was adapting to that position or he was being asked to do it. So I think they sort of need someone to go in there. They need a new left back, no doubt about it, because Kirkes is going to need backup. And Robertson's a brilliant character as well.
They need another centre-half without doubt, especially with Virgil van Dijk getting to 34. And Konate, we still don't know whether he's leaving or not, although there's talk about an agreement there that's starting to come through.
Yeah, I'm told that's not the case yet.
Well, I would be surprised if it was, because at the end of the day, I'm not entirely sure you'd be investing your future in Konate.
Not on form this season.
But then again, you have to ask the other question: how much would it cost you to replace him? So there is a sort of balancing act.
The young defender Leone, who got that injury, he'll be back. So hopefully,
they've got Jockey coming in as well, haven't they? From France.
But as well, though, right back. I know Conor Bradley, fantastic player, is out with a long-term injury. But do you start next season with Conor Bradley and Frimpong? Because no offense to Joe Gomez, he can come in at times and help. But I don't think he's at the level to where Liverpool want to go.
So how much money are we talking about having to spend again
400.
this year? And is there the appetite to do that? Because even though they spent 450 million quid last year, and some of this is down to injury, at times you've looked at that squad and you thought, it's light, there are holes there.
Yeah, I mean, obviously there's circumstances. They lost a player in unthinkable circumstances, really, and obviously Jota would have had a big part to play this season. So it's going to be interesting to see how many players they do bring in. Do they cash in on anybody else? There's talk of interest from Spain and Alexis McAllister. Do they decide maybe the time is right to sell him? I think it's going to be a fascinating summer. I don't anticipate they're going to hit the levels of spend they did last summer.
But the problem is, though, they haven't replaced Diaz. They need a top left winger, need a top right winger. Let's talk about, can they go and get Elise? Elise is not leaving Bayern Munich to come to Liverpool. He's not.
He was terrific the other night.
Yeah, simple as that. So how much is that going to cost you to replace Diaz and Elise? Like you said, a centre-half, need a defensive midfielder, maybe a right-back, and left-back to cover Kirkes. It's a lot of money, Sam.
It's a lot of money, and it requires a lot of scouting and a lot of deal-making. There's one text here who says that Crook will sit there and say there's so much wrong with Liverpool, highlight how every player has gotten worse or not bedded in well, and then say Slot's the man for the job, and his mate Richard Hughes has been a great sporting director.
I've not said that Slot is necessarily the man for the job. I think it would be harsh to sack a manager who won the title last season, given the circumstance they found themselves in. If I were in charge of Liverpool, I would think that Arne Slot probably deserves another summer and see how they start next season.
Don't finish in the top
Having
five.
said that, the performance against PSG was bad. 2-0 didn't really reflect what happened on the night. They were terrible against Manchester City. So I can understand the argument for a change of manager. And when it comes to Richard Hughes, the sporting director, he did find the manager who won the league last year. And there's a lot of revisionism. Nobody was questioning Liverpool's spending in the summer. And when
also,
they signed Vierts, when they signed Isak, even Frimpong, nobody thought these were bad signings. At the moment, it's not worked out.
The one thing I will say as well, and I think this is the case for a lot of sporting directors, is that if you start judging them on 6-month performances, you're going to find yourself in massive trouble, whoever it is. Agreed. You're going to have to judge people over the longer term, because the idea of having a sporting director there is to build a long-term philosophy, and it's the manager's responsibility for the short term. Now, I think if you spoke to Liverpool and you sat down with Richard and Michael, they would probably tell you that their idea last summer was to start building a squad, or when they first walked into the door again, to start building a squad that would end up competing for Premier League titles and Champions League titles in the next few years. They probably got there a little bit earlier than they expected last year and picked up a trophy. And yes, they failed to build on that this year. There's no doubt about that. But I think they will feel that they've put the building blocks in place for success going forward over a number of years.
I also find it incredible, Gabs, and I had a bit of a rant about this last week. I'm guilty of this as well. We're quick to blame managers. We're quick to blame sporting directors. Whose fault it is that Mo Salah's gone from the best player in the Premier League to looking like a pub player at times? Whose fault is it that Virgil van Dijk has completely fallen off a cliff? Do the players not need to take some responsibility as well?
Can you really call Mo Salah a pub
The
player?
problem is, though, like, listen, Mo Salah, Van Dijk, fantastic last season, but it does hit you as a player. It can hit you overnight where you lose that yard of pace and you're not the same player. His confidence is not the same. But I say,
how much of it's about motivation when it comes to?
But I say as well, though, does Slot keep his job and Liverpool don't finish in the top 5? Because Fulham have got every chance of getting top 7. Every chance. So they'll be looking at this game on the weekend. We can go and beat Liverpool. It'd be tough, of course. Then they've got PSG, and next weekend is Everton away. Well, Everton have got a chance of finishing above them.
Absolutely, and they don't look like they're going to ever keep a clean sheet ever again, because they can't defend for whatever reason. And there was a bit of I think on Monday when we did the show, there was a bit of a debate actually about whether or not they were doing the basics right, and he sort of pushed back on that, Arne Slot. But that, to me, seems to be the fundamental. They're not closing down quick enough. They're not covering the ground like they were.
Kvaratskhelia goal, Gravenberch.
Exactly.
Doesn't track him. You know, the basics. Too easy.
Nima is a Liverpool fan. Hello.
Hello. I can't believe, by the way, Gabby, I can't believe you're on this late, mate. You're usually on in the morning. That's when I listen to it. But I can't believe anyone saying Slot deserves another summer. Definitely doesn't deserve to be anywhere near.
You broke up a little bit there. Just explain to us why. And then listen, we know the fan base, a lot of the fan base are against Arne Slot retaining his position.
He's got, I mean, you watch us week in, week out, yeah. He's got no real style of play. When Klopp came in, he knew we were pressing from the get-go. The players were playing high intensity, high energy. You watch Slot's team now. What are we playing? What style are we playing? Are we pressing? Are we not? Sometimes we're just playing for playing sake. We've got.
But that wasn't the case last season, was it? Because we all praised Arne Slot for the fact he changed the style. He made them a little bit more defensively sound. It wasn't that rock and roll football, but it won the Premier League. Something you've not done on that many occasions.
He didn't really do much though, did he? Because he just inherited a boss team from Klopp, who were performing to them levels still. And he didn't really change much. He got a bit lucky. And plus, the other teams weren't as great last season.
But Nima, let me ask you this question, because Mike has sent us a text message.
It's not because we've been decent. If we get Champions League this season, which I hope we do, but I don't think we will, it won't be because we've been decent or we've been good or Slot's done a good job. Because the other teams around us have been poor.
Mike, let me ask you this question and see if you agree with me. The whole dynamic, says Mike the texter, of Liverpool was thrown off course by the idiotic chasing of Alexander Isak in the summer, who has an average injury-prone record. And into the start of the season, we were still chasing him when we should have had 100% focus on the players that we had. I, like many Liverpool fans, have given up on Slot because of his ineptitude. Nima, do you think that Mike has a point that the chasing of Alexander Isak upset the balance in the Liverpool squad?
We've never been a team where we put all of our eggs in one basket. When a player got to a certain age, we won't give them a new contract. Salah was an exception. We won't be given. We had a wage bill structure. We had a proper structure. Isak, yeah, we chased him a bit too much, but you can't sit there. Any team in the Premier League, you take any team top six, you would have given them the option to sign Isak.
Yeah, but the point being, not necessarily that they should have signed Isak, but did they, by signing Isak, put other people's noses out of joint in the dressing room? Because, for example, they signed Ekitike already. He thought he was going to be the big star. And then Isak came in, and obviously that then changed the level of recruitment they could do in other areas, like in defence and left-back or in central midfield, and they couldn't do that as a result. Be interesting to see what people think. 03717 22 3344.
Just a very quick, and the other point to make is they broke their own rule, really, by giving Mo Salah and Virgil van Dijk big money new contracts at their age. With hindsight, on form, that looks a mistake. But can you imagine if they'd let Mo Salah leave at the end of last season and Virgil van Dijk leave? They'd have got absolutely hammered, the owners, for doing that.
03717 223344. I'm a Liverpool supporter since 1978. I'm sorry, but Slot has to go. I'm sure he's a nice enough man, but enough is enough. I'm ashamed how Slot has treated Andy Robertson this season and young Harvey Elliott. Slot has almost destroyed his career after being the player of the tournament at the Euro Under-21s. They let Diaz go instead of giving him a pay rise. Mo on over 300 grand a week, but Diaz on just over 100. No wonder he left. I don't recognise this Liverpool team. It's not the Liverpool way. Lots of calls coming in on that. 03717 22 3344. Get in touch. We'll do it next.
Harry Maguire turns like an ocean liner, and they take a time to turn, and you see that in an instance, an £80 million footballer that can't move.
A bit harsh, Simon, a bit harsh.
I didn't like that from Simon. Yeah.
Well, he's certainly silenced those critics, hasn't he, in his
Simon,
performances for the last couple of seasons, Gabby?
I felt sorry for him because he wasn't at his best, but it got to a stage where it was bullying, online bullying of Harry Maguire. Everyone jumping on the bandwagon, setting up reels of every little mistake he did, when you can do that on every player in the world, the mistakes that they make. And then you had pundits being harsh. Roy Keane was harsh. You've heard Simon there. A bit overkill, to be honest. I'm happy for him. Amorim didn't play him enough. He's had his injury problems, but since he's come back into the team under Michael Carrick, he's been one of Manchester United's best players. New deal, back in the England squad, and I think he'll go to the World Cup and hopefully has a good World Cup for his country.
Like you mentioned there, he fell out of favour under Erik ten Hag. Like you mentioned, struggled for game time under Ruben Amorim. But, he's enjoying a revival under Michael Carrick, starting all 10 matches since his appointment in mid-January. Also, now he's signed a new one-year contract to the club with the option of an extra year extension. And bearing in mind he was out of contract at the end of the season, Director of Football Jason Wilcox says here, Harry represents the mentality and resilience required to perform for Manchester United. He's shown such great mental strength, and that's really what needs to be applauded.
100%. I mean, a lot of other footballers, maybe the younger generation, probably would have crumbled with the online bullying that he received.
Hello and welcome to talkSPORT Goals. We're taking you through what should be another busy day of football.
Chance to win it!
We don't need to do that, guys.
I'm going to owe you an apology. How would you get to that conclusion?
That's a weak mentality.
Oh, get out of it.
talkSPORT, Sam Matterface and Alex Crook alongside Gabby Agbonlahor this morning. We've got loads of calls on Liverpool, so let's get straight to it. We've got James, David, James, Simon and Cameron who joins us now.
Good keeper.
Cameron who joins us now. Hi, Cameron.
Hello. Good talking to you, boys. Love the show.
Thank you very much. You think that Slot is finished, do you?
I reckon if it was Klopp, if Klopp never left and he'd done this season the exact same, he wouldn't be under any pressure. Because why? It's because it's a passion thing. Klopp gave us so much passion that we didn't even bat an eye when we done bad. But Slot, the passion in him is just, it's a bit robotic.
He's a different character. He is a lot more tries to be a lot more steady and calm. Last season, that was one of the reasons why you won the title, wasn't it?
Yeah, it is, and it probably blinded us a bit. But now we can't connect to him. Like, it's just like you're trying to figure out what he's trying to figure out, and it's just you can't.
Cameron, thank you very much. Appreciate that. James is a Liverpool fan who thinks that the Slot deserves another chance. What do you think?
Yeah, morning, boys. I just think if you'd have taken Slot's first 2 seasons, right? If you'd have said to any Liverpool fan in the first 2 seasons, one of the seasons he's going to win the league, the other season you're going to have millions and millions of pounds spent. It's going to be a transitionary period. You're going to be in and around the top 4. It's not going to be the best. I think you would have taken it. It's just the order that it's happened has made Liverpool fans forget kind of everything that's gone on with it. So yeah, I'm all for giving
James,
him another
you're
year.
21 points behind the leaders, Arsenal.
Yeah, but Arsenal, I'm not an Arsenal fan by any stretch of the imagination. I hope they don't win the league, but they've been unbelievable this season. You can't take that away from them at all.
James, can I ask you what you make of those comments that Cameron made just now, where he says that actually, if Klopp had gone through this sort of scenario, you sort of forgive him a little bit because of the passion, the energy, and the desire that he shows, because he was a bit more of a cheerleader and he was a bit more visible, and because he put this sort of this aura out that he was determined to win for Liverpool and he understood the club and he was a bit tub thumping. That gave him an extra edge. Did it give him extra credit in the bank? And is that sort of that lack of demonstrative passion sort of sucking the sort of support away from Arne Slot?
I get it. I understand why he said that, but I don't agree at all. I think
it's very basic way to look at football.
Yeah, Klopp went through that kind of stuff, and he did get a lot of stick online, and kind of there were people questioning him, especially early doors as well in his tenure. It took him quite a while to actually win the Prem, which is what he said he was going to come in and do. So, and again, I'm a massive Klopp fan. I would love to have him back at some kind of stage in his career, but yeah, no, I don't think it's necessary around the passion. We saw it was a few games ago. I can't remember the exact team we played, but Slot was all over the touchlines, and the boys were loving it. But it didn't necessarily change the players' ability.
Yeah, I think it was in the previous Champions League game, wasn't it, that happened? James, thank you very much. You say it's a basic way of looking at football, which is quite dismissive of a football supporter who's rung up and actually said what was affecting them. But actually, I think it does matter, because I'll tell you why it's not as basic as you make out, because it wasn't true. Some of it wasn't true. As you know and I know, there was a Jurgen Klopp that we dealt with when the cameras were on and when the radio mics were on. And then there was a Jurgen Klopp that was behind the scenes, just a little bit more composed, a little bit more controlled, and a little bit more robotic, actually. Whereas when the cameras were on and when everything was happening, he was putting on a bit of a performance.
Yeah, and
so he obviously felt it was important.
And he wasn't universally loved by the players by the time he left either. You know, there are people who say that Mo Salah's form last season was partly to stick 2 fingers up to Jurgen Klopp, if you remember how their relationship was at the end of his tenure. When I say it's quite a basic way of looking at it, I don't think you should judge a football manager if he's any good or not by how demonstrative he is on the touchline.
Agreed.
Fair. Liverpool fan Simon joins us now. Hello.
Yeah, hi guys. Just a quick one, really. I think it's quite easy to sum this up. When we brought Klopp in, the first thing he said to us for the 9 years that he was there was that he wanted to turn us all from doubters to believers. And he took us on a journey. He took the whole club, the city, the Liverpool side of the city. He took us all with him, and we won everything along the way. But now if you have a look at us, we're now believers who are all turning into doubters with Slot. So it's a simple way of looking at it, isn't it?
But how much of that do you think is down to what happened with Jota in the summer? Because as a footballer, you think it's all about winning on a Saturday afternoon. That is life and death. When you've actually been through a life and death situation, you've lost one of your teammates in those circumstances, is it not natural that you're going to lose your edge a little bit?
Yeah, I certainly don't disagree with the comments and the sentiment to that. But at the end of the day, look, you guys are all... We talk football 24 hours, 7 days a week, and we all know it's fairly obvious to know that Slot's team was Klopp's team, and we're now with Slot's team, and it's not working. So, as much as I really like the guy, look where Klopp took Liverpool.
Well, they finished third in his last season, and then the following season, Slot's first one, he won the title.
Yeah, but weren't they in a situation at one stage where it looked like they were going to win the quadruple?
How many did they win in the end?
Well, they didn't, but it's not the point, is it? The point is they were competitive before.
I don't think Liverpool get rid of. I don't think Liverpool get rid of Arne Slot if they finish in the top 5. If they get Champions League football, I think you get another go of it in the summer.
Thank you very much for your calls. Appreciate that, Simon. 03717223344 is the number to call if you want to get in touch. You can text us 81089 as well. It's Sam Matterface, Alex Crook and Gabby Agbonlahor. We're here till 1 o'clock with Selco Builders Warehouse. Check out this month's real deals at selcobw.com.
Cucurella has said one or two things that you might have thought would have landed him in similar trouble, but hasn't, whereas Fernandes has been punished. Where do you stand on this? Is it impossible for Fernandes to wear the Chelsea captain's armband again, or is it no highly likely that he will, in view of what the noises are coming out of Chelsea?
No, I think if you get punished and you take it the right way, then he can change and get better and wear the armband again if he has lots of qualities that the manager sees in him. I quite like the punishment. I do feel for the manager at the moment. They've been on a bad run and he's getting a bit of unfair criticism. It's a lose-lose really, because if he doesn't do anything, then he's looking like he's not being disciplined enough and someone will criticise. And if he does it and then they lose to Man City without arguably one of their best players, their captain, and it's like, why you punish him? Could have fined him, whatever. But I think from a player's perspective is how I always look at it. I think when I've had managers that show a real firm hand to players who you wouldn't think would be treated that way, and I could give you examples, it makes everyone else go, whoa. I remember Houle when he got the sole job on his own and he went, bum, he got rid of Incy straight away. Didn't want him. Nobody couldn't believe it. He was captain. I remember Neil Lennon was a legend at Crewe and he messed around one day sneaking his car.
Aston Villa should make the Europa League semi-final. That's according to talkSPORT's Andy Townsend, who thought two-goal Ollie Watkins was the best player on the pitch.
Right on time, Ollie Watkins has poked one in from 3 or 4 yards. Shambolic defending, but he was terrific tonight, Watkins. Really impressed with his all-round game, and that's a huge lead now to take into the second leg.
Villa won 3-1 at Bologna. Unai Emery had focused on set pieces, but was able to pivot to go more direct to Watkins and Rodgers.
The second half, we connect better with them, with more passes. And through it, we played very good 25-30 minutes the second half, and we scored the second goal, and we didn't concede a lot.
Now, if you haven't seen this Porto own goal yet, look it up. Martin Fernandes' 40-yard pinger of a back pass caught his keeper and talkSPORT's Joe Shannon off guard.
9 changes in terms of personnel. Yes, they've made plenty in European competition this season in games, Nottingham Forest. Oh, that's going to be an own goal! One of the most remarkable own goals I've ever seen.
Meanwhile, Oliver Glasner says when they stick together, Palace will get results. They got a huge one, beating Fiorentina 3-0 at Selhurst Park. Mateta scored his first goal since New Year's Day. And does overnight co-leader Rory McIlroy feel more relaxed after his win last year?
No, I was nervous. I was anxious, just like I always am on that first tee.
The leaderboard is packed with big names. There's more at talksport.com.
It's TalkSport time now to catch up with the latest odds, all thanks to BetMGM.
It's showtime on TalkSport with BetMGM. We're ready for the action. Are you? Visit betmgm.co.uk or download the app. 18 plus. Gambleaware.org.
Yes, and everybody, can we just make sure we're a bit quiet? We're a bit quiet and we're a bit sedate here. Because Dan Towles is joining us from BetMGM, and he's a little bit delicate today because he went out to the darts with Crookie last night. Now, before we get going, Dan, I heard that you were whisked away by your missus because she was a little bit scared that you might get crooked. But I've got a bit of a bone to pick with you because when I went to the darts the previous week, I heard you sent a message to someone we were with, which was along the lines of, whatever you do, make sure Matterface gets plastered. True or false? False or true?
I can't confirm or deny.
How is the head this morning?
I'm absolutely fine. Absolutely fine. A very good night. As
I heard. I felt a bit dizzy. Had to have a black coffee this morning. That's what I heard.
I always have a black coffee on a Friday morning before I come on the show. No different to any other week, but it's fairly quiet night out with Mr. Crook. As you know, it's always eventful, isn't it? It started out when he said, can you meet me a little bit later because I'm taking the missus out for dinner. That dinner turned out to be ham, egg and chips in Weatherspoons.
That's a slap-up meal for him, mate.
Yeah, we then get to the darts. Every time I turn around, he's having his photo with someone. It didn't matter if it was a Premier League footballer. Ryland Clark, get his picture with Ryland Clark. And
I did get sent that saying, I had a great night with you at the darts, and then a picture of Ryland Clark.
Yeah, and then he refused to queue for a bar after the darts. Because the queue was too long. So he went to the front of the bar and said, do
you know who I am?
I work for TalkSport. I've just come to the darts. Can we come in, please?
It worked, though, didn't it? It worked a treat.
It did work. It did work.
Nothing like a night out with a Crookie monster. There was darts as well last night, from what I've heard. Just give us a rundown.
Yeah, Johnny Clayton won the night. He came from 5-2 down to beat Michael van Gerwen 6-5. That claimed his third nightly win of the Premier League season. He's now 3 points clear of Luke Littler, who went out in the quarterfinals to Stephen Bunting.
And he
Josh
got
Rock.
booed a lot.
He did get booed. Yeah, it's that's obviously as a result of what happened the week before with Jane Van Veen. Josh Rock also got some more points on the board after he saw off Gerwin Price in the quarterfinals. He now has 6 points on the board. Whilst he still sits on the table, he's starting to close the gap on Luke Humphreys in 7th, who's going for a bit of a tough spell at the moment. Luke Littler still leads the outright market at 8-11, but Johnny Clayton, he's playing extremely well, and at 7-1, he could be a bit of value come the end of May.
I'm looking forward to finals night, Dan. When is that again?
28th of May, I think it is this year.
That's in the diary. It's a Thursday night, isn't it? Yeah. Right. Okay. Each week we're doing golden goals. We're placing a prediction for some of the upcoming games on golden goals. If we correctly guess the exact scoreline, BetMGM will donate £500 to our chosen charity, Prostate Cancer UK. What's happening this week?
Yeah, it's free to play game on the app. Predict 6 correct scores, and you can you can win up to £250,000 through our prizes for 2 correct scores and upwards for you guys. As you said, £500 if you get to the correct score. Crookie is having an absolute mare this season.
Incredible, isn't it?
It's 0 out of 36. I think we're up to now.
He's the Derby County of golden goals.
So Sam, let's start with you. We've renewed Liverpool-Fulham.
Yes, you have, and I think actually it'd be quite a fascinating game because Liverpool have conceded 42 goals already. Fulham have scored a lot of goals against Liverpool. Away from home, they've been particularly impressive recently. I'm going 2-2.
Yeah, this was the exact scoreline last time Fulham went to Anfield. Liverpool now lost their last 3 home games in all comps and only won 1 of their last 6 at Anfield too. So Fulham 2, Liverpool 2, Liverpool 2, Fulham 2 is a 10-1 shout. Gabby, Sunderland Spurs for you.
Oh, so Roberto De Zerbi's first game. I look at Sunderland, their performance against Newcastle in their last Premier League game. I thought going forward they were very good. Brobby caused so much carnage for that Newcastle defence. Yeah. I do not trust Spurs defensively. I think they will concede. And I don't want to be out of this bet early. So I'm going to go 2-2.
2-2. Tottenham not won a Premier League match since the 28th of December. Only been 1-2 draw in this fixture since 1982.
Oh, good to
so
know.
history's not on your side, Gabby, but 2-2 draw is a 10-1 shout. And then we go to Mr. Crook.
Know-it-all.
Larry Letdown.
Does it matter what I say here? We know it's going to be wrong.
Chelsea versus... Well, we had Scottish last week and you couldn't get that right. So we're coming back to England for you. So Chelsea v Man City.
Chelsea have got a dreadful record against Manchester City. I think the Champions League final was the last time that Chelsea beat Man City.
Good job we had that conversation.
According to my learned colleagues.
He's done his research, Dan.
And City and decent Nick, very good in the FA Cup last weekend. I've gone for Gabby's favourite scoreline. I've gone Chelsea 1, Manchester City 2.
Yeah, the market suggests City will win this game. They're favourites to go to Stamford Bridge and win. Chelsea 1, Man City 2 is a 7-1 shout. So, Sam, you've gone for a 2-2 draw Liverpool-Fulham. Gabby, 2-2 draw Sunderland-Spurs. Crookie, you've gone for a Man City 2-1 win. 900-1 is the treble, but like we always say, let's put some money in the pot for prostate cancer.
We've been exchanging text messages about the Grand National this week. Crookie wants us all to back Oscar's brother. I said I fancy Johnny Who. We ended up backing both of them. Who are the favourites for the Grand National?
Well, unbelievably, these are the two odds I was just going to mention. But the favourites of the Grand National, so we've seen quite a bit of support at the top of the market for Dan Skelton's Panic Attack and Willie Mullins' Grange Clare West at 17-2. But I'm leaning towards a slightly bigger price, 11-1, which is Johnny Who. He won the Ultima at Cheltenham last month. Some questions around his stamina, but he has a lightweight at 10-4, and I'm hoping he can run a big race. But you mentioned earlier Oscar's brother, 4th in the Brown Advisory last month. Has a little bit more weight than Johnny Who, but he could also have a decent each-way chance at 14-1. But look, I've never won the Grand National, unbelievably.
What?
It's never, ever won the Grand National, so don't be taking my tips.
Doesn't fill us with confidence.
It doesn't fill with confidence, so... It's all we got time for change. Crookie hasn't won golden goals for 36.
No wonder you both get on, honestly.
By the way, before we talk to Masters, Dan, I did think it was nice of Mrs. Dan last night to come wearing her own green jacket. I thought it was quite topical.
Yeah, for your Masters week, she did. Yeah. She took your picture of what she told on social and thought she was going to aid you in that social.
And bearing in mind that you are the Tony Pulis of the Masters, so would you like to lead the Masters chat?
Well, I'm on Xander Schauffele, who's, I think, 3 shots off the lead, so not a terrible start. But I've got to say, Rory McIlroy, that is an impressive start to your Masters defence.
But he does start quite often like this, doesn't he? Can he sustain it this time around?
Well, he usually has a tendency to chuck in one bad round. If he does that, I think it opens the door for someone like Schauffele, or maybe even Scotty Scheffler, who's lurking dangerously as well, Dan.
He is, yeah. McIlroy was 7 shots off the lead after his first round last year, and now he's joint top after 5 under with Sam Burns. Justin Rose also had a decent start. Obviously, Crookie were at the darts, we didn't get to see it, but he bogeyed his last 2 holes that left him on 2 under. But you mentioned Scotty Scheffler, he's 2 under. He tees off at 3:20, I think, UK time this afternoon, so he could post a decent score and put a little bit of pressure on those at the top of the leaderboard.
Justin usually has a good round at the Masters, doesn't he? He's a terrific golfer, Justin Rose. Right, okay, that was a look at the latest odds, all thanks to BetMGM and Headache Dan. BetMGM.co.uk or download the app if you want to get involved. 18+, begambleaware.org.
It's showtime on talkSPORT with BetMGM. Keep things golden with responsible play at betmgm.co.uk. 18+, gambleaware.org.
We're going to be speaking to the Lincoln captain after their promotion on Easter Monday. That is coming next on talkSPORT with Selco Builders Warehouse. It's where the trade go.
No, I think Gabby's spot on, Alan, to be honest. I think if you make that decision now, there's a danger that United don't finish in the top 5, don't get Champions League football.
Why? Because he relaxes, or because the players take the foot off the gas?
It just happens sometimes, doesn't it? It happens.
Well, that was going to be my next point. I think if you do make that decision, then there is a danger maybe the players relax and take their foot off the gas. Obviously, from what we're hearing from Ahmad and Brian and Boomer, they're the players very much behind Carrick. They would say that. They're not going to say anything different in a press conference environment. But there's some tough games to come. I'm going to be at Old Trafford on Monday. Leeds, the visitors, never an easy game. Obviously, a big rivalry between the two. They've still got to go to Chelsea, who they're competing with for the top 5. They've still got to host Liverpool, who are right up there in terms of the Champions League as well. Sunderland away has been a difficult trip for a lot of teams this season. And then Brighton away on the final day. So it's not a given yet that United finish in the top 5. So I think just keep their powder dry. What I would say is quite telling is that, as I understand it, they've not yet sounded out any potential alternatives for Michael Carrick. We're 6 weeks away from the end of the season. Obviously, plans are for the summer transfer, though Carrick has been a part of those conversations. So I think certainly he's in the box seat.
I think as well, there's even when they do give it him at the end of the season, they don't need to give him a long-term contract, though. They could literally look at a 1 year, 2 year deal and see how it goes, can't they, Crookie? Because, no offence to Michael Carrick, but there's not going to be many other clubs in the top half of the Premier League.
Hello and welcome to talkSPORT Goals and taking you through what should be another busy day of football.
Chance to win it!
We don't need to do that, guys.
I'm going to owe you an apology. How would you get to that conclusion?
That's a weak mentality.
Oh, get out of it.
Hello, it's talkSPORT with Sam Matterface, Gabby Agbonlahor and Alex Crook. Now, how has a club with one of the smallest budgets in League One managed to get promotion to the Championship? Lincoln City back in the second tier for the first time since 1961. They've got the best attack in League One, the best defence in League One, and just one home defeat all season. I'm delighted to say that earlier on we spoke to Tendai Derikua, the Lincoln City captain, and I started off by asking him how on earth they'd managed to go unbeaten since November the 22nd.
Yeah, it's been an incredible journey this season. We've been on 24 games unbeaten, just like you said there. But I think just the hard work that we've put in, the players and the staff have really bought into what we've tried to achieve this season, and thankfully we've managed to get the promotion. But there's still 5 big games to go, and we want to try and win the league now.
Everyone's talking about the fact that you've got one of the smallest budgets in the league. And I think over the course of the season, maybe one or two people were a little bit sceptical that you could get the job done. Did that fire you forward?
Yeah, I think certainly as players, I think we know what we're capable of. We believe that we are the best team in this division. And I think to go 24 games unbeaten, I think that proves that we deserve to have done what we've done so far. People speak about budgets, and of course there are some big clubs in this division, but certainly for myself and the group we've got here, we believe in how we work, and we're confident going into every game, and it showed.
You're 34 years of age now. How do you think you'll fare in the Championship next season? And did you think that your chance to play in the second tier had gone?
Yeah, as you said, obviously, I'm not getting any younger, so it probably feels a little bit more special to have the opportunity to go up a league. But look, for myself, I'm confident in my abilities. I've played in the Championship before, and I think I can still do a job at their level. So I'm looking forward to next season. But as I said, I just want to finish off this season strong, and and see how we fare, for the last 5 games.
Michael Skubala is your manager. He's a fascinating character. He was a futsal coach. He studied psychology. What has he been like? What has he done that has helped you come together in such a manner that you've gone on this brilliant unbeaten run?
The gaffer's been great. Like you said there, he's probably had a different journey to a lot of the managers out there. But since he's come to the football club, he's obviously done incredible things. He sets us up every game to go out to win. He's very calm and level-headed, and I think that shows in our performances as well. So a brilliant manager to work for, and hopefully he can stay at the football club for many years to come.
His methods are maybe not textbook as well, maybe a bit unusual. Is it right you've been training at times with the Red Arrows?
Yeah, there's the local air base isn't too far down the road from us, so sometimes we see them fly across. But I think the gaffer and his staff have gone down there for a few talks with them. Obviously, they have to work in a team, in a formation as well. So as players, we've not really been down there, but I think the manager and his staff have gone down for a few chats with the guys down there as well. Yeah.
Didn't arrange a flyover for when you got promotion, no?
You know what? I've actually heard a rumour that they might be flying over today, to be fair.
You're joking.
No, I heard so. But no, look, sometimes when we're out on the pitch, we see them fly across many a time. So if we see the red and white stripes fly across today, it would be special, yeah.
You've got to change your nickname now. You can no longer be the Imps. You've got to be the Red Arrows.
You'll have to have that out with the supporters. I'm sure they're obviously very proud to be in.
Yeah, I don't think I'm going to. It's all right. Well. I'll back off now.
No, look, as I said, it's amazing times for football club. 65 years. It's been such a long time. So really exciting times ahead.
And you've mentioned, obviously, the focus now is on securing the title. You need 2 wins to guarantee that. What about the end-of-season celebrations? Because when Wrexham went up from your division, they were treated to a trip to Vegas. I know your owners probably aren't quite as rich, but is there anything planned?
Yeah, I mean, look, it would be obviously amazing to get ourselves to Vegas. I'm not sure we'd have the same treatment as the Wrexham boys got. But no, look, I think, as I said, we've got 5 games to play now, and I'm sure at the end of the season there'll be plenty of times to arrange a trip, and hopefully that is Vegas, yeah.
That was Tendai Derikua, the Lincoln City captain there, who was, I don't think he was up for changing the name of the football club or the nickname of the football club. But he was keen to point out he'd already played in the Championship.
I did know. I meant
well.
at 34, did you feel like his chance to go back to the Championship had gone?
Yeah, it's good that you did all your research for that interview as well, because after nicking my stat for the Champions League, he also nicked my question about the Red Arrows as well.
I was busy representing the company last night.
Is that what you call it?
Keeping the sponsors happy, yeah.
They've done well, Lincoln, though, haven't they, Gabby? I mean,
amazing.
It's an amazing feat, isn't it?
Yeah, and obviously people have made jokes about it, like, Spurs are going to be playing Lincoln next season, or West Ham will, but it's a fantastic story. You want to see different clubs coming into the Championship, trying to get into the higher leagues. Even look at Bromley. Look what they're doing in League Two. They've got a chance of...
Well, you don't want their manager to come on the programme, though, do you?
I'd love that, mate. I'd love that. But it is fantastic when you talk about how much they pay in wages compared to some of the teams that have paid big money in League One before and not got promoted.
Yeah. I mean, obviously, Crook also sort of, in that conversation, suggested that maybe the owners don't have the big money that the other Hollywood owners have from League One who got promoted into the Championship. But the owners the owners of Lincoln City are worth about £500 million, and the former owners of the San Diego Padres. But apart from that, you were spot on with those questions.
I meant contact. By the way, they're going to need a few quid in Vegas. It's not cheap in the States.
Yeah, they're going to need a few quid to get into the Championship, because that's one of the problems that some teams have faced when they've been promoted. I'm looking at Portsmouth and the fact that their budget has retained that sort of, not quite League One levels, but they're the bottom end of the Championship.
Would you think they will spend then, the Lincoln owners?
Well, they have to stay in the league. You've got to, because it is a step up. The Championship is a step up, and it is a brutal division.
It's getting harder and harder, the Championship as well.
Absolutely. And I'm not saying this, even just to survive, you've got to make sure that you spend money.
Yep, look at the teams that are fighting relegation. Leicester, West Brom. You'll never have thought that at the start of the season. You'd think in West Brom will be fighting for promotion. Leicester just got relegated, would come straight back up. So Lincoln for sure need to go and get experienced Championship players as well that can help.
It'd be fascinating to see how they get on. They want to win the title. That seems to be pretty key to Tendai. He was quite sure on the fact that they need to focus and still get that over the line.
I think they will. I think they'll play with a bit of freedom now. It doesn't sound like the celebrations have been too exuberant, so I think they'll go on and be crowned champions.
Can you imagine what it'd be like if he won the league?
Oh, wow. I don't know. How many horses would he buy? 10, 15 horses, Crookie?
When you
straight to Vegas.
When you got your greatest ever achievement, which was Player of the Month for October 1999 or something. And how did you celebrate?
Just the usual, mate. Every weekend in London on the West End.
Did you?
Yeah.
Is that what you were doing?
Always.
Every weekend?
No, most weekends.
China White.
But it wasn't just London. Manchester's a good night out. Newcastle's a very good night out. A club called Attic and Top, I think it was. Yeah, I travelled the country.
Why did Roberto Di Matteo not want you?
It all makes sense.
I could never work it out. Right, okay, we're going to talk Grand National next. We've got live commentary over the weekend. Aintree Festival is already underway. The showpiece event, Grand National, this Saturday afternoon at 4:05. We've got commentary on talkSPORT 2 and the talkSPORT app as well. So we'll talk about that with Sam Twiston-Davis. He's coming on the show next.
The bottom line is, if it's good enough for Real Madrid, and it was good enough for Klopp, how's it not good enough for Tuchel?
How much? I mean, Madrid are not a good side this season.
No.
And are not going to win very much this season, are they? And Thomas Tuchel's got one opportunity to win something. And so he's got a limited amount of time to do it. And Klopp didn't win the things that people suggested he could have won. Whilst he's got a huge reputation on Merseyside and well-deserved, and his brand of football was fabulous to watch, the actual trophy haul was somewhat less significant than perhaps the reputation has been able to be steeped upon. And that's not a criticism, it's just a simple statement of fact. If you're getting into this tournament and you require Trent Alexander-Arnold to get past Ghana, to get past a weak Croatia side, and to get past Panama, then there's something fundamentally wrong, full stop. Not suggesting that he can't do the things that you ask him to do. I think you can beat those teams without Trent Alexander-Arnold. It's when it comes to the side, when you start playing against the teams that historically have caused us problems. And if you put Trent Alexander-Arnold on that side and ask him to defend, he's going to get done. And Tuchel doesn't want that, I suspect. And whilst it's okay, you can overcompensate for it and you can shift people across and start to cover for Trent. You start trying to balance the side to achieve that. So it's not about Trent being in the 35, which he probably could and should be, because there's no reason for him not to be, really. But you start chucking him in against games against Ghana, then you'll have this massive press reaction to the fact if he doesn't play against a side where Tuchel thinks we need to defend better.
Yeah.
I think it's great that Trent can hit a winning ball. But we talk, whenever we haven't got something, we always talk, whenever we see something, we always talk about what we haven't got. Players get better when they're not playing. So when put Trent Alexander in the England side, and the England side plays a poor game, and he plays a poor one too, which he has done when he's played for England. He hasn't been earth-shattering when he's played for England. So I'm not really in the camp saying, well, it's a massive, massive must-have.
talkSPORT Sports Update, powered by the Nissan Van Range. Commercial vehicles that go the distance for your business. Search Nissan Vans or head to your local Nissan Van Centre.
Just coming up to midday on talkSPORT with the sports headlines, I'm Amelia Beltrao. The under pressure Arne Slot insists he's still feeling the love from Liverpool's board and fans. Speculation about his future has grown following Liverpool's 17th defeat of the season at PSG. Slot was asked if Andy Robertson's leaving Liverpool for more game time.
That's a question I think it's smarter to ask him than to ask me. But I think every player wants as much regular first-team football as possible.
Robertson was offered a new contract Alisson's still not fit for Fulham's game tomorrow, and Alexander Isak could start for Liverpool for the first time since December. Now, over at Newcastle, Eddie Howe's again reiterated he's 100% committed to the club.
That commitment has never wavered from my side. I've been working during the break to make sure that we come back a stronger team. I think in this day and age, I think it's very difficult to look too far in the long term.
Newcastle go to Palace on Sunday. Villa legend Gabby Agbonlahor has told us no one at the club wants to sell Morgan Rogers. Villa's massive wage bill also counts against them. They need to pay players big money.
If they didn't, they wouldn't have got the players over the line. Even so like Ian Martin, maybe Aston Villa had to pay a lot more than another club bigger than Aston Villa would have paid to get these players over the line. It will be frustrating, and I hope Morgan Rogers doesn't go.
We understand it's likely Rodgers will be sold to balance Villa's books. Villa go to Forest on Sunday. Meanwhile, Spurs could be dropped into the bottom three tonight. That's if West Ham win at home to Wolves, live on talkSPORT. And Rory McIlroy says he's feeling looser at Augusta following his epic win last year. But the tightness is still there for some shots. McIlroy's the overnight joint leader alongside Sam Burns going into day two. And there's more at talksport.com.
talkSPORT News.
A violent abuser has been convicted of killing his wife after she jumped from a bridge to escape him. And the Prime Minister says he's fed up with the UK's bills being driven up by the actions of Trump and Putin. Sinead has more in half an hour.
talkSPORT weather with QuickFit. The tyre transfer window is hotting up and we've signed a multi-generational talent with Continental Tyres. Visit quickfit.com and book today.
Dry with sunny spells, cloud increasing throughout the day. Rain moving into western areas later with strong winds. Back to average temperatures though, and more unsettled into this weekend.
Good afternoon. It is talkSPORT on a Friday. Sam Matterface, Alex Crook and Gabby Agbonlahor. It's day two at the Grand National Festival, and talkSPORT's network will be bringing you all the action from Aintree. On talkSPORT, H&J will bring you 3 Grade 1 races, including the Melling Chase at 3:30. There's in-depth coverage as well of 5 races on Racing Live and The Social on talkSPORT 2 from 1 o'clock. And don't forget, Saturday's Grand National will be live on talkSPORT at 4 o'clock. To listen to all the action, just download the talkSPORT app and swipe between our stations. Very much looking forward to this. The Grand National, one of the world's most famous horse races. Let's speak to one of the most famous jockeys. Sam Twiston-Davies joins us now to preview the big event. Hi, Sam.
Afternoon. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, delighted to have you on the programme. Having won almost everything there is to win in jump racing, the Grand National has remained elusive for you. Does it feel like the missing piece of a puzzle? Can you get it done tomorrow?
Well, I very much hope so. Still got a good few years left of me yet to keep trying, so we'll do our best and see.
What does it take to win a Grand National, do you think?
Oh, a bit of everything. A bit of skill, bit of luck, bit of technique, if there is such when you're on the back of a half-a-ton horse. So, as anything, it's try and get a good position, find the best way around, and hopefully home in front.
You're on Beauport tomorrow, finished 12th last year. How does it improve this time around? What have you been doing, what the trainer's been doing to try and improve its performance?
Well, I'll tell you the truth, probably last year I jumped off and got a little bit excited. So I was up near the front the whole way. And, you know, as anything, it's almost like we watched the Tour de France. If you're up the front doing too much at times, you don't always finish the strongest. So for this time, we're going to be a little bit more, probably hold back a little bit, save a bit more energy, and hopefully that'll allow him to finish his race off stronger.
You say luck plays a big part in winning the Grand National. Obviously, that is the case with so many horses in the race, but it has been diluted a bit in recent years with obviously the fences made safer. We get a lot more finishes now year on year. Is there a danger that sanitised the product a little bit?
Right, you do the maths, do 34 times 4, there's still a lot of hooves going around. So as anything, it's always, you need a bit of luck. And if you're on the floor, it's never that easy. But for us, it's always about, it's a fantastic race, very lucky to take part. These are our the horses that we have to get such good care, and this is what it's a big stage for us to show actually how lucky we are to be here and what we really truly enjoy. Yes, it is a job, but it's also a passion as well.
Who else do you fear in the race? I Am Maximus is the favourite, around about 6-1. Other ones to watch: Oscar's brother, Panic Attack, is getting a lot of noise. I mean, if Panic Attack was to win the race, it would become the first mare to win it since 1951. So who are you wary of?
I think he's probably actually more fearful of a trainer than a horse, because obviously, Willie Mullins' record is fantastic. Obviously got a large volume of runners. I think actually Captain Cody is one of his, which looks quite interesting. But yeah, you're obviously drawn to I Am Maximus, a previous winner and second in the race. And then obviously of the English horses, it'd be lovely for Panic Attack. The Skeltons have had a fantastic season, and it'd be lovely to see a mare win the race as well.
It's a race that does tend to throw up plenty of fairy tale stories. Obviously, you're riding for your dad. He hasn't won this race since 2002 with Bindari. What would it mean to the family on a sort of emotional level?
He's had a few more kids since then, so it definitely helped pay for them. I'm the oldest one, so it's actually helped now. I can support the younger ones. But yeah, it's very much a case. It's always when you're working with family, it's a little bit of not extra pressure, but you put it on yourself, because the result means so much more when you're trying to achieve and work towards something together. So it'd be very special. He's 125-1, I think he is currently, but I'd be hopeful he could well outrun those sort of odds.
What does the day feel like? Because it is one of the major events in the sporting calendar in this country, and always has been. It's a day when the eyes of the nation turn to racing, probably the biggest one. Maybe even bigger than the Cheltenham Gold Cup. So what does it feel like? Is there a responsibility amongst the jockeys and the courses and the racing fraternity to put a show on?
Yeah, very much so. Obviously, there's 34 of us going out. What's interesting is most runners as a jockey you'd ride against. So funny enough, the quiet lads sometimes become loud. The loud lads become quiet. And you get a little bit of camaraderie beforehand. At the end of the day, you all want to win, but there has to be that little fine balance as well between the pressure and actually what is a privilege to be taking part. So we all know the kind of, obviously, the criticism the Grand National gets, but it's a fantastic race, a lot of fun, and one we're just delighted to take part in.
Do you have to be a bit mad to be a jockey? Because I was at Fontwell, my local track, a couple of days ago. I was speaking to one of the jockeys that I know well, and another jockey had just fallen off his horse. He was injured behind a screen, and the jockey I was talking to said, "Oh, don't worry, he's going to be okay. He's just broken his leg."
Yeah, Keelan Woods. He's, to be fair, when you a few of the lads are out running the course, you knew the minute he went for the gas and air there was something wrong, because he's a hardy bit of kit now. He wouldn't be one to moan. So everyone in the weighing room well as individuals, and Keelan, would you believe it or not, is actually popped his hip in and out. He's still wanting to ride in the big race tomorrow, so we wish him all the best of that.
Wow. Can you imagine Crookie being a jockey, by the way?
So the answer is yes, you do have to be a little bit
nuts.
They're
mad, all mad.
You got runners today as well. You're on Top Jimmy at 1:45. Jordan's Cross, Bill Baxter. No drama this end. What's your best chance of a winner today?
Well, it was no drama this end, but sadly he's a non-runner, so I'm going to have to pick one of the other three. I think Top Jimmy actually will go well. He fell at Sandown last time. We've been jumping fences with him since, so he's had plenty of practice over the bigger ones. He's back over hurdles, so hopefully that will see him run well, and he'll go well at kind of 16-1.
How difficult is it for the smaller stables to compete? Because you look how many runners JP McManus has got in the race. Obviously, Mullins dominates the Cheltenham Festival. Is it becoming harder to compete with those juggernauts?
It's tricky. They had the sales yesterday, and there was a lot of money being spent. I think top lot was 320 grand, so to compete on that level is very tricky. As ever, you do need a bit of luck, especially in the sales or wherever you buy your horses from. And then you have to have things go right on the day, whether it be the ground, a bit of luck in running. But you've got to turn up, do your best, and know that racing is a funny sport. It's a never-ending merry-go-round, and everything does have its way of kind of turning around. So hopefully, with a bit of luck, we can go well today. But if not, it'll be in the future.
You've got 5 runners as well tomorrow. Is there anybody else we should be looking out for during your rides tomorrow at Aintree?
Leave of absence. He's in the 2 races before the Grand National. He's carrying top weight round in a handicap, so technically means he is the best horse in the race. But it is a competitive handicap, and it's a nice race for him. He was a good competitive 5th at Cheltenham last time. He's coming into the race in good form, so hopefully he'll go well.
And do you know that from the start that he is going to be a contender? When is it in the race itself that you as a top jockey can realise that actually you're in contention here, and your horse is in great form, and you've got a real chance?
Yeah, I'll try and compare it to what normalises it most as an athlete. If you can go around in a race 3/4 of the way as comfortable as you can be, it allows you to finish off your last quarter a lot better than the others. But at the same time, as if I was to line up with the professionals of the Olympics, I'm not going to get very far. So you have to be on a good horse on the right day, in the right occasion, to give yourself every chance. So if you can get into a good rhythm and get nice and relaxed and finish well, that most of the time means you're on the best horse and have done quite well.
How do you see the future of jumps racing? Because obviously it's got its detractors, and no doubt there'll be protests outside Aintree tomorrow, as there always is on Grand National Day. The betting tax, I think, luckily, is not going to be a thing, because that would have really hurt the industry. Do you think it's still in rude health, jumps racing?
Yeah, I'm 33 now. I've no missus, no kids, but I'd love to believe that there'll be a Grand National for when I do eventually have children one day that will be watching on to what is a great sport. I think the biggest thing is people don't get to see. You get to see the horses in their element on the track, but actually the work that gets put in behind the scenes. I mean, I'm lucky enough to stay at, we're staying the Radisson Blu up here, lovely hotel. But these horses are getting day-to-day care. They're getting breakfast in bed every morning, getting ridden out by total professionals every day, getting to go out into the field to play every day in between. And then they're going racing kind of once a month type of thing in the midst of winter. So it's they're very well looked after, very well cared. And I think that's actually the biggest advertisements we should get out there, is how lucky these horses are. They have a rugged up to the nines, and they have a very, very nice lifestyle as to what is, and go and compete on the big stage.
Sam Twiston-Davies, thank you very much for coming on the programme today. Good luck over the next couple of days with your rides at Aintree. We appreciate that. We'll be featuring them all on talkSPORT 2 and talkSPORT over the next couple of days. Top Jimmy likes in the 145, the William Hill Handicap Hurdle later on today, and leave of absence in the William Hill Handicap Chase 2:30 tomorrow.
In tribute to Gabby, because he keeps ditching us for breakfast.
What, leave of absence?
Yeah, you can talk, Sam.
I didn't say a word, by the way. I didn't say a word. Last week was Good Friday. It was a bank holiday. Doesn't count.
Did you enjoy it, or
he missed us?
I'm pleased to be back with you.
Oh, the extra hour. Oh, I get it.
It wasn't that.
He left the phone alone today.
Okay.
Yes, because you told him off all week.
He deserved it, didn't he?
You really did. Because he had to do. These two had to do a show together on their own for 2 hours last week, and it was like torture for them. And they had to concentrate, which was.
We hit every ad break on time.
Yes, because you didn't have anything to say.
Sam, all I can say is Alex really enjoyed sitting in that seat.
Did he?
He was smiling non-stop. He loved.
You said to me he couldn't get off his phone.
Yeah,
you were talking at one stage, and you thought, I'm talking to myself there because he's not listening.
Yeah, he does do that. You know him better than me. He likes to do that. But he did do very well stepping in, and he felt comfortable. He enjoyed the extra pressure, and he wants to do more, he says.
Yeah, well, he used to have a show on a Sunday night, but that got canned. It was interesting that you talk about the fact that he sits there with his phone. If you go dinner with him, right, sits there with his phone out, you're trying to talk to him, it's just you and him, and he's just sitting there on his phone at the same time. That's why you see all these pictures of Mrs. Crook with Lewis Dunk and all these other celebrities that he introduces.
Oh, okay, yeah.
He's just trying
you know a lot of celebs, don't you, Crookie?
Well, they tend to flock to me.
Brilliant.
Hence why you book the calibre of guests that you do. Well done, by the way, Gabby, for getting Stephen Gerrard on breakfast earlier.
It was massive for the station, and legendary player.
Did you ask him if he thought he could manage Liverpool?
We didn't ask him.
Well, he's already answered that, hasn't he? And he said it's not something he could do right now, but it's something that he might do.
He's ready to get back into work, and talkSPORT were very proud to have him on.
Yes, he was excellent company in Madrid, by the way, and he did. The co-commentary was really interesting because the first time we sort of had him do sort of some of the sort of summarising during the game.
It was very good, mate.
And just like the insight of like this is what they're trying to do, this is what they should be doing, I thought was really good.
And when you know him very well, like Sam and other people, you can call him Stevie G. Do you know what I mean? That's what you can't do, mate.
I'm not on that level.
No, you can't, mate.
Did he have that?
There's a lot of levels that you're not on. This is talkSPORT. When we come back, we'll be talking more about the weekend's football.
Let's go to Jay. He's an Arsenal fan. All right, Jay?
All right, Jay.
How you doing, lads?
All right, matey.
I'm all right, Jay. You happy?
Yeah. No, I'm not, mate. No, not really.
What do you mean?
That was absolutely diabolical. Where was Martinelli tonight? Where was he?
What do you mean? You just got one of the best assists of the season.
Oh, lovely. Yeah, Sporting Lisbon. Yeah, we're flying, aren't we, lads? Do you know what happened? Me and me boy. Listen, me and me boy.
Final of the Champions League. 1-0.
Me and me boy, and my mate that I work with, he's a Tottenham fan, right? So we've got a Tottenham fan in between us. We got the 68 minutes. We were all yawning.
Yeah, no, it's a tough one.
Literally yawning. So listen, we flicked over to the Real Madrid game with Bayern Munich. Oh my days!
Hold on. You turned over.
Too right, mate. Why not do that,
You
Jamie?
turned over at Champions League quarter-final watching your team. You turned over and watched Real Madrid.
What do you want me to do? Go to bed at like 9:20, mate? Like,
That's an absolute disgrace. Jay, you're a disgrace. I'm
that
sorry.
is poor, mate.
That's
Really?
shocking.
Why are you
You're not
saying
watching
that?
your own team.
Listen, I wanted to watch football tonight, so I had
You're
to
an
go
Arsenal
over to
fan.
Real Madrid and Bayern Munich to actually see a bit of football, lads. And what is all this all about? It's all about Arteta, isn't it? We're all crumbling. You know, the Carabao Cup, the FA Cup, we've gone. And then tonight was the night that we went out to Lisbon, right, and we put a foot down and we showed that we want to win the Champions League. We're up, mate, nothing tonight. Absolutely 68 minutes. Oh, Jamie, come on, bruv.
Hello and welcome to talkSPORT Goals. I'm taking you through what should be another busy day of football.
Chance to win it!
We don't need to do that, guys.
I'm going to owe you an apology. How would you get to that conclusion?
That's a weak mentality.
Oh, get out of it.
talkSPORT, Sam Matterface, Alex Crook and Gabby Agbonlahor through till 1 this afternoon. We've got live football tonight, West Ham against Wolves, 8 o'clock. It's a massive game for West Ham United. We've got full commentary of that. Arsenal back in Premier League action, looking to try and put pressure on Manchester City ahead of their game against Chelsea on Sunday. Arsenal against Bournemouth is live on talkSPORT. And Monday Night Football, Manchester United against Leeds. We're looking forward to that as well. It's a massive weekend in the Premier League. And it's a massive weekend for Crystal Palace and Newcastle. They clash on Sunday at 2 o'clock. And Eddie Howe has been talking in the build-up to that game.
For me, nothing's changed. I'm absolutely 100% committed to the job. That commitment has never wavered from my side. I've been working during the break to make sure that we come back a stronger team. I think in this day and age, I think it's very difficult to look too far in the long term. I can only look to these 7 games and make sure that we perform at our very best level and make sure the players are ready for these games, and we go right to the end of the season. It's been an incredible season in a sense that we worked out that we hadn't trained with 20 players since August, which is I've never said that before during a season. So the first time we've gone back to big sort of numbers in training has been a real refreshing couple of sessions for us. And it's been really enjoyable. So I think that let's try and finish the season well. That's what everyone wants to do.
It was interesting because he was speaking after David Hopkinson, who is the CEO, who was on this programme actually when Gabby and Crook and Jim went up to Newcastle earlier in the season, had said, I don't have a stance on Eddie Howe's future. What I can tell you is that the Derby loss hurt. Eddie's our manager. I expect to have a great run to the end of the season. We'll talk about the future when it is time. Now, those comments almost were interpreted as a non-committal sort of idea of Eddie Howe's future. Was that an example, though, of someone trying a little bit too hard to placate a fan base after a Derby defeat and getting it wrong?
Yeah. What he should have said was, Eddie's done a great job. He retains our backing. Disappointed with the Derby result, but nothing to see here. Instead, what he's done is cause a whole lot of conjecture and speculation about his manager's future.
But what I would say is that Eddie Howe deserves to keep his job definitely in the summer, rebuild his squad of players, probably no European football next season, but you have to be honest and say the Premier League season hasn't been good enough at Newcastle standards. That's
but is that because of the fact that they haven't got a deep enough squad?
Of course, they haven't got a deep enough squad, but the players that they've had available, they shouldn't be behind Sunderland in the league.
But aren't we back to the same discussion that we had when we were talking about Aston Villa? And that is that they have owners that are wealthy, probably wealthier than everybody else, but yet they're unable to spend because of the financial restrictions. And as a result, that's keeping them further down the pecking order.
Who do you think?
Because you look at their last few seasons, Champions League, qualification, then out.
Yep.
Great season getting to the winning the cup competition, getting to the Champions League, and then out. So what's next season? Another great season, and then the following season not being able to sustain it?
The problem they've got...
It's up and down, up and down, up and down. Because
the problem they've got as well is, do they have to sacrifice a player as well, like Aston Villa have? Is that Tonali? Is that Gamirez? Which one is it that they have to sacrifice?
Tonali will go in the summer.
What sort of figures are you thinking for him?
80.
And where will he go?
Manchester.
Ooh.
Which one?
Take your pick.
But the interesting thing there
he'll end up at City or United.
Is that Elliot Anderson is a target, isn't he, for Manchester United? But you're not going to
target for both
of those in, are you?
Well,
one will go one club and the other one will go the other.
Well, I think United want two. It just depends what level of investment, which will obviously ignore Mr. Mathematician Gabby here. He'll be totting up the net spend already.
Euros.
But I think. I think he'll end up Tonali at City or United. I think Guimaraes will stay. I'm not sure that he's got the level of suitors that some of the others have. Anthony Gordon's a fascinating one because he wasn't too far away from joining Liverpool a couple of seasons ago, and we talked about their need to replenish. I wonder if he might be a target as well.
When they're good, aren't they? The players that have got Sam, Willock, Ramsey.
They're a good team, and they work so hard without the ball.
Yes, Murphy, Gordon. When they're at it, they're very good. But do you worry the likes of Wissa? They're obviously going to keep him. He's got to come good, hasn't he? He's got to have a good pre-season. You're not sure about him, Crookie?
No, I'm not. I wasn't sure at the time, to be honest. Yeah. It felt like
40 million, was it?
It felt like a panic signing. I think it was more than 40, wasn't it? Felt like a panic signing on the back of losing Isak. And what I would say, if I was advising the owners there, and clearly they're more intelligent business people than I am, if Tonali is going to leave, get it done early. Don't get into another Isak situation.
Yeah, then what they must do is learn from the travails of last summer, where Eddie Howe, I think, was haunted by the fact that he had to deal with that situation because he didn't expect it.
What about defensively? Because Trippier's leaving, obviously free transfer.
Share, I think.
Got Livramento, but you need another right back maybe. I know Murphy can fill in there.
Is Livramento one that might end up engaging in transfer talk this summer?
He's shown no inclination to sign a new contract, which tells me that he wants away.
If that's the case, then they will get quite a hefty fee for him. And if they get a hefty fee for Tonali and a hefty fee for Livramento, it does give him the opportunity to reshape the squad. And we know he's very good at doing that.
Got to spend the money well, though. Again, you look at last summer, I think the jury's still out on Voltemade. He had a positive start to his career, but that faded away pretty quickly. Wissa, we've spoken about. Obviously, it was a bit unfortunate he got injured on international duty almost immediately after signing. Elanga started to improve. I thought he was good against Barcelona.
Needs a bit more confidence.
What about centre-halves?
Well, they're obviously going to need another one. Botman signed a new contract, but they do need another one there as well, I think, just to bolster, especially with Cher getting a year older.
Nathan Ake would be a good fit for Newcastle.
Yeah, and has a connection with Eddie Howe. But I think the other thing we need to sort of factor in at this summer is that Ross Wilson, who is now the sporting director there and in charge of recruitment, is going to be more hands-on and available, whereas last summer there was a void there. And this summer there isn't that. So I think they'll be a little bit more structured in the way that they approach it. And if you look at Ross Wilson's history, he's always done a very good job.
And Newcastle fans were disappointed maybe they don't get into European positions, but maybe next season, look at Manchester United.
They're not out of it in terms of Europe.
I know.
They're only 4 points off 7th.
But will they want to be in the Conference League, Newcastle?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think they'll embrace any European tour.
Just hard is when you've been playing Champions League football this season to go to the Conference League. I get it to the Europa League like Villa have.
No. I think if you're Newcastle United, you want to be in any form of European football. And by the way, you're still in that build phase of trying to enhance the brand, to get the name out there across the world. Yeah, we all know about Newcastle United, but when you were speaking to David Hopkinson, he was talking about the fact that they needed to just keep pushing the brand, pushing it into all corners of the world to raise further cash, to increase the commercial revenue so that they could give more money to Eddie Howe to build a squad.
What I'm saying is even if they didn't get into the Conference League, they would have a better chance next season, less games, to get back into the Champions League places.
I think if you want to be a big football club, you're going to have to embrace playing in European football. And there could be 9 teams in Europe next season.
But I think it's really tough. Even again next season, if we get 5 places.
Well, we will get 5.
Arsenal and City are not going anywhere. Liverpool and Chelsea, you would expect.
But that's why it's important just to play in any competition in Europe. You're not always going to get into the Champions League, so you've got to embrace the other competitions, because more likely than not, someone is going to end up playing in them. Manchester United have played in the Europe.
Playing in the Conference League isn't going to help Newcastle get bigger across the world, is it?
It's going to teach their players what it's like playing on a Thursday and a Sunday and playing more games.
This won't make me very popular in the North East, but the Champions League isn't really Newcastle's natural place in the pecking order.
03717 22 Tino, Tonali and Gordon will leave 100%. Don't trust the manager to totally rebuild the squad, from Chris in Newcastle. Sorry, Gabby, says Michael. Why should Newcastle be above Sunderland? We've played with more belief, more passion, togetherness. Explain, please.
That's out of order.
Don't deflect, Crook.
Because Sunderland have just been promoted and no one expected them to be doing as well as they are. And Newcastle have lost 2 games to Sunderland this season. Not good enough.
03717 22 You can WhatsApp us. You can text us 81089, or you can get in touch via the phones as well. You going somewhere?
Relax, Cookie.
You all right?
Just let me drink.
Crikey. This is talkSPORT with Selco Builders Warehouse. Check out this month's real deals at selcobw.com. You can wait for the camera to go off before you start drinking.
I mean, I know you want to be diplomatic and you're maybe tiptoeing around it, but would you have gone in for the Tottenham job? Would you have taken it? Given what we've seen, we've watched Tottenham and everyone's sort of dancing around it.
You just mentioned something there, and this would be more important to me, and obviously the career I've had, it does pay well. I wouldn't go in there. I wouldn't look looking for money. They could offer me a massive amount of money. I'm sure they're capable of it, and I'm sure, well, allegedly, they've offered De Zerbi a massive amount of money.
It would have been about
No, it'd have been about what you're going to gain me as a human being. What would I gain, right? You go in there, you get the job done. 6 games into next season. If you're not in the top 4 and the football's not what they want, rubbish, get them out. So you're not going to gain a lot there, are you? So then, and that's if you get the job done, because it's not easy. And then you don't get the job done, and then somehow it's on my neck that I took Tottenham down. You go, well, that ain't good for me as a human. This is not even about football. I'm going, well, that ain't good, is it?
What do you reckon?
You know what I mean? So I go, and then you get some money, and I go, well, I'm not thirsty for that. I've got some money, so how much do you want?
You know the dynamic of the industry. We all know the 2 biggest commodities in football are talent and gossip, right? Or money and gossip. Money and gossip, right?
You must have. Sad, I don't know if it's an equal measure. Money and gossip beats talent.
Money and gossip was what I meant. Money and gossip, right? What do you think is wrong with Tottenham?
Well, I mean, I find it I find it really interesting from the outside. I know Thomas, and if I was a Tottenham fan, and I know a few, I thought the manager was getting a hell of a lot of heat and weight on that. And if I was Tottenham, I'd be looking at some of the players. Me personally, I'd be going, hang on a minute. Look at all this money they've spent. And money doesn't guarantee anything, by the way. It's another myth about football. But it gives you a better chance. And you're going, right, so spend this money. Look at these players. Allegedly, I keep hearing this, and at Forest, all these talented players. Talent is when you deliver. You can be telling if you're not delivering, that ain't talent.
Aston Villa should make the Europa League semi-final. That's according to talkSPORT's Andy Townsend, who thought two-goal Ollie Watkins was the best player on the pitch.
Right on time, Ollie Watkins has poked one in from 3 or 4 yards. Shambolic defending, but he was terrific tonight, Watkins. Really impressed with his all-round game, and that's a huge lead now to take into the second leg.
Villa won 3-1 at Bologna. Unai Emery had focused on set pieces, but was able to pivot to go more direct to Watkins and Rodgers.
The second half, we connect better with them, with more passes. And through it, we played very good 25-30 minutes the second half, and we scored the second goal, and we didn't concede a lot.
Now, if you haven't seen this Porto own goal yet, look it up. Martin Fernandes' 40-yard pinger of a back pass caught his keeper and talkSPORT's Joe Shannon off guard.
9 changes in terms of personnel. Yes, they've made plenty in European competition this season in games, Nottingham Forest. Oh, that's going to be an own goal! One of the most remarkable own goals I've ever seen.
Meanwhile, Oliver Glasner says when they stick together, Palace will get results. They got a huge one, beating Fiorentina 3-0 at Selhurst Park. Mateta scored his first goal since New Year's Day. And does overnight co-leader Rory McIlroy feel more relaxed after his win last year?
No, I was nervous. I was anxious, just like I always am on that first tee.
The leaderboard is packed with big names. There's more at talksport.com.
Good afternoon, it's talkSPORT. Scott Minto, the former West Ham defender, will be alongside me tonight as we bring you live commentary of West Ham against Wolves in the Premier League, exclusively to talkSPORT.
Listening to Scott.
Good boy, isn't he?
You and Scott are good together.
I'm looking forward to that tomorrow.
He's good on the Friday show as well.
Do you know what? He's played in the Champions League.
Oh, has it? Okay, get rid of me.
Goal
can have it.
in the Champions League.
He
I miss my Fridays at home.
Do you know he had the record for the fastest own goal in the Champions League, and he held it for 20 years. So we used to call him on the podcast. We used to call him a Champions League record holder. He absolutely loved that. West Ham unbeaten in their last 4 home games in the league, a run that includes draws with Manchester United and Manchester City. But how are they going to get on tonight? Here's their manager, Nuno Espirito Santo.
I truly believe that the fans understand the situation that we are all in the club is, and the need that we have for their support, and they're giving that a lot. And Sunday is going to be. It was the clear example that we, as a group, we don't give up till the last minute. It's not only words; we prove that situation with facts. So I hope that the fans trust us, support us on Friday, because it's going to be huge for us.
That was Nuno Espirito Santo talking about the supporters and the level of support that they're going to need to get over the line. I watched the game on Sunday, and they weren't very good, but they did keep going right to the very end. They need that character. A win could take them outside the relegation zone tonight for only the 4th time this season. How much of a psychological boost would that be?
Massive. You said it earlier. I said it during the week. This is a cup final. This is a must-win at all costs. This is a 0-0, 1-1. Last 2 or 3 minutes, you're flying forward to get a win. You have to Yes, Wolves will cause problems. The pressure's off them. But look at where Wolves are in the league. West Ham have to win this game. And players like Bowen, he's got 8 Premier League goals. They've got Somerville back as well. These players have to step up tonight.
Have they got Somerville back? They're assessing him. He's getting better day by day. How crucial is he to their potential success?
Massively, because if you look at the start of their upturn, he was a big part in that in terms of his goals and his assists. They won't risk him, I don't think, if he isn't fully fit, but you would expect he might be back at least on bench duty. I think Nuno Espirito Santo deserves a lot of credit that they're even in the fight, because there are a lot of West Ham fans who thought they were dead and buried at one stage. But they have made themselves harder to beat. Yes, they're not picking up as many victories as he would have hoped, but they're in with a chance. And
there was a game recently, wasn't there, at home, where the atmosphere was electric at West Ham, and you're like, they need that tonight, Sam. You're covering the game tonight. They need the fans on side.
Do you know? Remember when Everton stayed in the Premier League under Frank Lampard, and there was those brilliant days, and I remember Richarlison scoring and picking up the flair.
Yeah.
Do you remember that kind of atmosphere? That really intoxicating, intimidating feeling of going into the stadium. And you never felt from the minute that game kicked off that they were going to lose it. And West Ham kind of need that unity, that experience.
We had one under Paul Lambert. We played Sunderland, and it was a must-win in the relegation battle. And the atmosphere was electric. We won the game, I think, 5-1 in the end. And it was a relegation, 6-pointer. And when the fans are on side, these are the games that you have to get over the line. Yes, goals aren't as much as they should be for West Ham. You look at the goals, Bowen 8, then it's Wilson and Somerville with 5, and Souček with 4. But tonight can Castellanos turn up, Pablo?
You have predicted the future, though. I've got Gabby's scribblings here.
And you keep checking my league table.
He's got West Ham.
He doesn't turn up with his own material, mate.
He's put West Ham on 32 points. So that means you think they're going to win tonight.
I think they will.
You've got Tottenham on 31, so you're going for a draw there.
Yes, I did earlier, 2-2.
Just a little insight into the
Golden
Gabby
Agbonlahor.
But this is my league table that I get before the show, and you always steal it every week. Why do you do that, Alex? You don't have the league table on that phone that you like to look at?
Well, I'm not allowed. You raised your eyebrows when I said Nuno deserves a bit of credit.
Yeah, I did.
Why?
Because I think he does deserve a bit of credit with the way that they've reacted after the January transfer window and since they've got the players in. But I do think that they threw away a couple of games earlier in his tenure, which have caused them real problems.
Including against Leeds.
I'm talking about the game against Leeds and the game against Brentford, where he picked a team which was clearly never going to win that match. And I could not, and I still don't understand why he did that.
He was playing fullbacks on opposite sides.
Absolutely. Ollie Scholes was playing right back. He's never done it.
The young kid came in, Irving started.
Yeah, Irving started a game from nowhere and has never been seen since. It was a very odd selection process. It was a Monday night game and a Friday night game, and it was a space of 5 days. And those 2 games, they lost both of those games. And in the space of those 5 days, they threw away 6 points. Now, if you think they got 2 points out of those games, which was highly possible, by the way, right, where would they be now?
Of course, but if you look at their fixtures, and yes, we can't predict scores, we obviously guess what they're going to be. But
you've tried to, look.
Yes. Next, I've got Wolves, obviously, tonight. Then we've got Crystal Palace away, Everton at home, Brentford away, Arsenal at home, Newcastle away, Leeds at home. They've got winnable games in there.
You've got them down for 12 points.
I'm having a little guess. Don't worry, mate. But you saying me they can't beat Wolves tonight?
I bet you they don't get 12 points.
They can't beat Everton.
We'll have
they can't beat Brentford away.
Bet.
Well, hold on. You said that Everton would beat Tottenham.
Yeah, I'm not saying that they're going to win now. I'm saying they're winnable games. Where I'm saying what points they could get from. Obviously, it doesn't work like that. It's not as easy.
Of course, it doesn't.
But
how many points are you going to get to stay in the league this season?
Well, you only need 2 wins, Spurs. That's what Alex says.
Yeah, because I don't think...
How many points do you think you'll need to stay in the league this season? Average is 34.5, so you need 35 to stay in the league on average. But again, because of the nature of Wolves' performances, and Burnley, maybe it's going to be a little bit more.
36, 37, I think. That's why I say
36 or 37.
That's why I say 2 wins for Spurs would take them on 36. I think that'll be enough.
So you don't look at the remaining fixtures for Forest, Leeds, and West Ham, where they can get 3 wins.
And how many points have Leeds got?
33.
Right, okay, so you're saying that Leeds need 1 more win to be out of it?
Yeah.
I think you're going to need more than 36.
So who do you think looking at this table then, West Ham, who are on 29 points, you don't think they can get to 36? They can't get 7 points out of 7 games?
Well, they've not averaged a point a game over the course of the season.
Bear in mind, you think they'll beat Wolves tonight?
So that means 4 points out of 6
I think they have to beat Wolves tonight.
They do have to beat Wolves tonight.
What do you think, Sam? Do you think West Ham are capable of that?
I think you'll need 37 to stay in the league.
So we're only cribbling out over a point then.
Well, that's quite a lot. That's a big margin. In recent history, 35 has been you're home and host. Some people stayed up with 32.
West Ham's goal difference as well is very poor compared to other teams.
You think West Ham will go?
I think West Ham will go.
I still think it'll be Spurs.
I think it will be Spurs. I look at the games left. I think West Ham have got a better run of games.
I don't want West Ham to go. I don't, because I think that the fan base there have been hurt so much. I'm just like, I really would like them to achieve it, but I don't really want the Tottenham to go down either, to be honest with you.
Financially for West Ham, it's going to be a disaster if they go down.
It is.
Bowen will go. Andy McCoy said on in the week was saying that he could see Bowen at Liverpool. Could you see that?
How old is he, Bowen, now?
Late 20s, isn't
Late 20s. He's only just signed a new contract.
Not much sell on value, is it?
But could you see that Bowen being a sort of player that could fill in for Salah when he leaves? Ali was big on that.
I think he could do a job at Liverpool, yeah. And he's the type of player that I think that Liverpool do sign every now and again, which is a player who they know exactly what they're going to get from. And depends on the price, though, doesn't it? Because if he's still got a long contract on, it's going to be quite expensive.
And I think what's crazy for West Ham fans, Sam, is that every chance Millwall will come up.
They are.
Imagine that.
Well, they blew it, didn't they, at home to Norwich the other day, Millwall, which we talked about. We're deviating, but we did say now that they're the favourites almost to get in the top two. They had a nice run of fixtures, and they wilted at the first.
They've got no one in the top half of the table, hardly, Millwall, to play between now and the end of the season. They've got a great run in.
Imagine
lost
that.
The first one.
Yeah.
Imagine that for a summer for West Ham. You get relegated, you lose your best players, and Millwall come up.
It's the same for Spurs, isn't it?
Yeah.
Their nightmare scenarios, they go down and Arsenal end up winning the Premier League.
Exactly.
Gabby's Villa snobbery, says Ryan. He thinks they should be in the Champions League every season, and anything else is not good enough. I think he's forgetting that they're the luckiest club going, and when Emery goes to Madrid, they will fall back into obscurity.
Real Madrid, Emery. Can't see it.
Why not, Alex?
I think he's found his level.
Pardon?
I think he's found his level.
What, Villa's his level?
Yeah.
So all he's done in his career, you don't think he could manage a bigger club than Aston Villa one day?
Well, it didn't go brilliantly for him at Arsenal, did it?
Didn't get the time.
PSG?
Done okay at PSG. Did he not do well at Villarreal, at Sevilla? How many Europa Leagues?
Similar sized clubs to Villa, I would argue.
You're out of order.
I can't see Unai Emery as Real Madrid manager. I think
to be fair, I mean, you've sort of put words in Ryan's mouth there. He just said when he goes to Madrid, it could be Atletico that he was talking about.
Yes, I don't think he leaves. As long as Aston Villa get Champions League football, either winning Europa League or finishing top 5, he stays.
He did win. They'll get Champions League now, don't you? Because a couple of weeks ago, you were doom and gloom. They were going to finish 7th.
I don't remember that.
You were. You were right down on them.
Alex?
You were right down on them.
Do you remember when they played Newcastle and he was tipping Newcastle to win because they were in a bad place? Oh, yeah, we've lost it.
They won one league game
and they beat Newcastle.
I thought Tielemans and McGinn would be out for longer than they were, and they've come back. And by the way, Tielemans,
excellent.
Douglas Luiz, not going to get much game time for the end of the season.
Tielemans would be a good buy for United. Talking about improving that midfield.
No one was talking about United.
This guy.
Steve McAloon says, tell Mr. Crook that as a plastic mank, his attitude to pecking order relating to Newcastle being in their Champions League is typical of someone who attached themselves to a club based on glory.
How many times have Newcastle been in the Champions League in the Premier League era?
Yes, but that's not what he's saying. He's saying that you attached yourself to glory. That's the reason you supported Manchester United.
Well, he doesn't know the backstory. We're not going to go into that now.
The backstory? What is the backstory? That you were born in Salford, as you told me.
Was you, Crooked?
15 years, he told me that he was born in Salford. He even got it put on his passport, which wasn't true.
Are you joking?
To make out that he was born in Salford.
Crookie.
And then I called him on it once. I said, "Are you really born in Salford?" He went, "No."
You got it on your passport?
No, of course I haven't. How'd you doctor a passport?
About to say, mate.
Almost outed you for fraud there, didn't we? When Spurs sold Gareth Bale, they invested that cash so poorly, and Newcastle seem to have done the same with the Isaac money. Unfortunately, I can't help but think that this would have set them back a few seasons. Imagine they signed even one very successful player with that money, and how the narrative around the season could be very different, says Ollie. 03717 2233 This is talkSPORT with Sam Matterface, Alex Crook and Gabby Agbonlahor through till 1 o'clock. H&J have got loads from the Aintree Festival after 1 o'clock this afternoon.
I am delighted to say the man from Hackney, 28-year-old Viddal Riley, European Cruiserweight champion, joins us live in the studio. Loving it. The belts, the spoils of war. Well done.
I just want to say, I was born in Hackney, but I am from Tottenham.
Right.
Yeah.
Better be diplomatic on that one. How was it for you?
It was, it was a great experience being under a new promoter, new energy, big stage, just having the arena full to that capacity at the time as well, and just embracing my moment, just putting so much work in to get there, and just finally just enjoying being under the lights. It's been a year since I was out, since I was out again. So yeah, it just felt good to be back. It felt good.
Good. What kind of a step up was Masternak for you? Because this was a seasoned pro. He'd been in with Billum Smith. He'd been in with Tony Bellew. Hadn't won, but he'd been in with him.
Yes, no. Going into the fight, I never took him lightly. I never thought, okay, he's 38 now, I'm younger, that's going to be enough. There's a reason why he's been in the game this long. 50 wins, 33 knockouts. I'm going into the fight with 13 fights. There's no respectful reason for me to underestimate him. So I always knew it was going to pose this challenge, but I always knew that I could win in good fashion.
What do you think of this fella, Simon?
I thought it was a first-class performance. I mean, I think ultimately you talk about levels, and this guy was a European champion. Obviously, Viddal stepped up from England.
Hello and welcome to talkSPORT Goals. I'm taking you through what should be another busy day of football.
Chance to win it!
We don't need to do that, guys.
I'm going to owe you an apology. How did you get to that conclusion?
That's a weak mentality.
Oh, get out of it.
Hello, talkSPORT. After almost a month away, attention's turning back to the title race this weekend. Tomorrow we've got live commentary of Arsenal against Bournemouth. Chelsea against Manchester City is Sunday afternoon. What difference does the result tomorrow make to Manchester City's result on Sunday?
I think it puts pressure on Manchester City on Sunday, because everyone's thinking, yeah, Manchester City are going to go and beat Chelsea, but Chelsea aren't going to just allow that, are they? Yes, Enzo Fernandez is missing, but Chelsea players need to step up. João Pedro recently, Cole Palmer's got to do more. Garnacho, if he gets a chance defensively, they've got to do a lot better, Chelsea. But I don't think it'll be straightforward tomorrow for Arsenal. I watched the Everton game, and they weren't great until Jockeying scored, didn't they? From Pickford's mistake, and then Dowman scored that second goal.
They had opportunities on Tuesday night, didn't they, before they ended up getting the winner late on.
They were decent on
Pressure's off Bournemouth as well. Bournemouth have got a good side.
Yeah, and unbeaten in 11 games so far. If Arsenal don't win, then that will improve City's chances of catching them. And Pep Guardiola has been speaking today about his team's tendency to finish season strongly.
Hopefully we can do a lot of points. It's at the situation that we are in the Premier League, so we need to do all of them. Otherwise, we will not give us a chance to try it until the end. So we need to do a lot of points. We were not consistent enough during the season. We dropped points that we should take it, and that's why we're in the position that now we cannot do it differently.
He also talked a little bit about on whether he feels more excited at this time of the year. No, he says, I have a lot of yellow cards. That means how excited I am. Not just for April, but during the season, I have had a good energy and I still have good energy. You get the feeling that he thinks that there's still a chance that they can catch them.
I think they're probably going to have to win every game to do it. We were just working it out there on Gabby's crib sheet. They've got 8 games left. They're on 61 points. So if they win every game, they get to 85. That would mean that Arsenal on 70 need 5 wins from their last 7 games. If they win every game, Manchester City, they've got a squeak, especially as they play Arsenal. But they have no margin for error. And I actually agree with Gabby. We all think Chelsea will lose on Sunday, but it might be a more difficult task than we think. Remember, they went with the under-21 manager to the Etihad Chelsea and got a point.
They did, but their record against them is pretty poor since the Champions League final in 2021, winless in 9 against them. And Chelsea not in fine fettle at the moment, had a bad run before the international break, although they did score 7 last week at home against Port Vale. Maybe things have just sorted out for them slightly behind the scenes with the week of training. The thing about Manchester City is that they've started to look a little bit more ruthless going forward. There feels that Haaland started to score more goals, and he went through a dry period. And when he goes through a dry period, they are lacking goals from other areas. But he started scoring again. And if he has the kind of end to the season as he had the start to the season, then they might win every game.
And you're seeing more consistency with City's team. You know, you're seeing Semenyo off that right-hand side, Doku off the left, Shirky, Bernardo Silva and Rodri. Defensively, Kushinov is looking better every game he plays. You know, quick, aggressive, on the front foot. Gahey's looking better every game he plays. It's a more settled team now. You can predict Man City's team every week. And if Haaland keeps getting the service that he got in his last game against Liverpool, he will score.
Well, you can't predict Arsenal's team with any degree of certainty like you can with the Manchester City team. But when we bring you commentary tomorrow of Arsenal against Bournemouth, I think it's important they get a really good start to the match, because one of the issues that they've had recently is the fact that it's taken them some time to score the first goal in the game, and that increases the nervous anxiety around the stadium. If you look at their last 6 games in all competition, their first goal in the match was 89th minute, 89th minute, 36th minute, didn't score, 68th minute and 91st minute. They are leaving it late. They are giving their fans a bit of an experience, let's put it that way.
And I think there will be a bit of anxiety around the stadium because of what's happened in the Cup final, because they got knocked out of the FA Cup at Southampton. I know they went to Sporting and got a good result there. But if Bournemouth start on the front foot, as they have a tendency to do, I think there will be a lot of nerves around the home fans.
And we made the point on the Premier League All Access podcast where we look ahead to all of the games this weekend, which is available on the talkSPORT app or wherever you get your podcasts. It's always good to plug another talkSPORT product.
Yep,
you know what it's like.
Yep,
you know, it's like when you know that debrief that you used to do before it got canned.
Yeah. Went bust.
Because you did it in the pub and I had to pay the bar bill afterwards.
Well, Gabby wouldn't have paid it, would he?
Oh, I know.
Andoni Areola has had a week on the training, or a couple of weeks on the training ground with his Bournemouth team, and we know what he is like.
And we speak about this race, don't we, for the top 7. Bournemouth are still in it. If we say Newcastle are still in it, so are Bournemouth on the same point as Newcastle.
It'll be more than 7, though. There's every chance that it will be more than 7.
Yeah, but I'm just saying that Bournemouth, they're not going to get relegated. There's pressures off for them. You can play freely. They won't look at this Arsenal side and the struggles Arsenal have had in certain games and be afraid of them. I agree with Crook. They will be on the front foot, some exciting players, and they've got options as well.
Just a quick point on Bournemouth, because this was something we brought up on the Fiery Fridays podcast while we're plugging stuff. Is Andoni Areola taking the mickey a little bit when it comes to his future? Because he's been asked about it again today. He said, we've had conversations, there's nothing to tell you. He's out of contract at the end of the season. It means they can't plan a pre-season tour. It's going to make planning their recruitment difficult. He's got a whole coaching staff there waiting for him to decide if he's going to stick around.
Managers have a choice in pre-season tours.
Yeah.
Big say.
Oh.
Do you not think it's a little bit disrespectful from Areola?
I think some managers are asked that their contracts run until a certain point in July so that they can plan for a pre-season tour even if they're expiring.
Did you get my point?
I've heard that being proposed before.
Areola must know 7 games before the end of the season if he's going to stay or go.
Of course he does.
So he's going to
go
the hierarchy.
He's going to go to Atletico Bilbao.
Well, Edin Terzic, I think, is the favourite for that job at the moment. Yeah.
Well, Bournemouth are in a good place, though, aren't they?
Is it not disrespectful?
I think so, yeah. I know what the club's done for him as well as what he's done for the
Stood
club.
by him when he wasn't winning games early on.
Bournemouth have got some fantastic players. I like the way they're not afraid to sell their best players, House and Kirk, Semenyo, for the right fee.
That's the model.
Then go and spend it again. I
think
like
it's an
it.
exciting time to be at Bournemouth. Isn't it? Why wouldn't you want to stay? They've got a new training ground. They're about to get the stadium upgraded very quickly, and it's going to look very different, I think, in the next couple of seasons. They've got a real opportunity to go into Europe. Maybe he's waiting to find out whether they manage to achieve that or not before he's making his.
I just think
decision.
it's a little bit poor. It's like when Gabby decides last minute if he's going to do breakfast or this show.
Yeah, that happens a lot and doesn't put up a protest. Unai's good enough for Real Madrid, but wouldn't go because he doesn't get the keys to the kingdom if he goes there, says Nathan, a Villa fan. Spurs' biggest match of the season is tonight. West Ham win and drop us in the relegation zone. Then I don't believe we have the fight or believe to get out of it, says Mark. Hi, chaps. Unai is more than capable of managing Real Madrid if given the time and the money. Arteta has had it at Arsenal. He would 100% have won the league by now. Arteta is a fraud. I'm not sure about that. He won't take the Madrid job because he won't have control of everything. Listen, if you take the Madrid job, you've got control of nothing. You've literally got control of nothing. Look at what's happened there over the course of this season.
So Unai Emery turns down Real Madrid if they come calling. That's what we're saying.
You said that they won't come calling.
They won't come calling.
It's a hypothetical question.
But he does ask
He'll be on the first flight
Anyway,
to Spain.
it was nice of you. It was nice of you to come to the show, Gabby. Thank you very much.
You,
for that.
mate.
It was good. It was good of Crook to turn up despite his best efforts to stay out very late last night with Dan Towers and the BetMGM.
Did you enjoy your
team.
coffee, lads?
I did. Thank you very much for opening your wallet for the first time in 2026.
Second time on this show. Every time on breakfast.
And thank you very much to everyone who sent a message this week. It's been very kind and very humbling. Thank you very much. Appreciate that. H&J next, and they've got loads of racing from Aintree.
Sporting had previously won 17 home games in a row across all competitions. Arteta was interesting on that. Arsenal looked at that record and thought, oh yeah, watch this.
That's when you have a difficult period. I think the best thing that you can do instead of talk a lot is observe. Look around you and see how people react. How they talk, how they look at you, how they judge you, what they do. Do they look at themselves? Do they start to criticize other people? Look around and you're going to learn the environment and the people that you have around you. And I cannot be prouder to work in a club with people that the only thing they could do is ask, what else can I do to help? And when you have people like this, I don't know if it's going to take another week or two, but something good will happen at the end because we deserve it.
There's a smirk that's almost a little giggle